Hi everyone, I am Artisan here and welcome to the third and final qualifiers for the Lion City League Season 2 Pokemon Unite tournament. This event is brought to you by the three big cats along with our sponsors Prism Plus, Darren Stewart, Football Academy, Kaplan and Birmingham City University, as well as our community partner Pokemon Unite Singapore. Do drop by the LCL Facebook page to learn more about what our sponsors can do for you and show us some support while you're at it. Participate in any of our qualifiers and stand a chance to win a Prism Plus monitor. This may be the last qualifier for the Pokemon Unite tournament in LCL, but we still have FIFA and Halo lined up. So if those are games you play, do consider joining, and who knows, you might just walk away with a Prism Plus monitor. And while we're all excited for the games to begin, let's not forget our invited caster for the day. He's known as the host of the Late Night Unite podcast, and now adding late night casting to the list, he is none other than Snacks. Great to have you here with us today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. What a wonderful intro. I didn't know you're going to gussy me up that much, so I feel not only good in a self-esteem sense, I feel good in an energy sense, and I'm excited to cast some games to some teams that I've only gotten a very minor exposure to. So I can't wait, and I'm happy to be here.
Yes, that's really nice to hear, and I'm really excited to be casting alongside you as well. So now, for those of you guys who are at home watching the LCL for the first time, the LCL tournament is proud to bring you a format where everyone has a chance to win, whether you're a pro or just a casual player. So for day one, we have the group stages, a round-robin best-of-3 format with 2 bands on each side. Based on the rankings within each group, each team is given a division in which they will face off other teams of similar skill levels in day 2 for cash prizes and LCL points. At the end of all of these 3 qualifiers, the top 8 teams with the most LCL points will be invited to the LCL Championships, an offline event in June where they will face off for bragging rights and more cash prizes. And with that, we are going to show you guys the current Pokemon Unite leaderboard so far. So this is the current standing of all the different teams who have joined the Lion City League so far in the 3 qualifiers, excluding today. And Snacks, could you bring us through the groupings for today?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's start with Group A. Once that pulls up on the screen, we'll go through those names for you here. So Group A is going to be Renaissance, Pokemon, and Hua Yi. So we're not going to be starting there with our matches, but we do want to highlight Group A as we move on over to Group B. And of course, Kimochi, Pokeballers, and NSV, No Survivors. We're going to be catching quite a few. We're going to be getting to watch all of these teams today, which I'm excited about. But first, let's jump to Group C, where our action is going to kick off today. And of course, that's between Elite Four and No Lucario. That's where we're going to be starting today, and I can't wait for this action to get underway, RT. Because this is going to be, for us North Americans and European watchers here, 2 bands on each side is going to be so exciting, and I can't wait to see how these compositions shake up for these teams as they go head-to-head in these best-of-3s.
Yeah, and I think, we've seen Elite Four and No Lucario play in most of the competitions in the Singapore region, as well as, past rendition of the LCL. So we do know that both teams, they have good competition experience. Elite Four, they kind of just rebranded from Team Rocket. I think they've had enough of just blasting off away, and now they are in this to win this. And of course, No Lucario, definitely a team that we're all kind of familiar with. It is kind of built up from team members who were from Divinity as well as Star 9. So very kind of like an all-star kind of team, and I think we can expect really good gameplay from both of them.
Yeah, when you mentioned that No Lucario is made up from Divinity and Star 9, which are 2 teams that I have heard of and am familiar with, I'm excited to just watch them and see what they bring to the table, what bands they go with here, and what sort of position they're going to put Elite Four into to put up their team composition. As you said, that joke of blasting off again. Elite Four, they're going to try to be here to stay. They're tired of being the butt end of the Team Rocket jokes, and what's scarier than the Elite Four, we're going to find out.
Yeah, I think, we say that they always blast off, but they've managed to win previous competitions in Singapore as well. They were the winners of Friday Night Unite, and they came up as the underdogs. And I think no Lucario, they are very sure that this is a team that they need to play well in. They need to have 100% focus in, and with the bans, it's going to be very interesting because these players, they are very familiar with each other. They know which players are actually good at playing what Pokemon, and I think the bans that comes in will be very specific selections to kind of counter the specific players on each team.
Yeah, so having in-depth, obviously, knowledge of the other squad is going to be incredibly important. Curious to see if no Lucarios is going to stick to their namesake and just start banning Lucarios every time around and forcing maybe some top path players into things like Machamp, Zarina, maybe even a Trevenant or two. We've seen that from time to time. So that's, again, these bans open up so many possibilities on so many team compositions, and especially with these two teams knowing each other as well as I've been told they do, let's shut the door on some of those best Pokemon and let's force people on their second or third choice, third pocket pick, and really see who's got the depth of characters here in this game to win it all. That's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, okay. Well, you're talking about no Lucario. I feel like the name is definitely a misnomer, right? It's very hard for you to find a team comp that doesn't have the Lucario, but of course. And I say this because Solo on the Lucario is a really good player on the side of no Lucario. So I think if they really want to bring in the best, they might actually allow and kind of let the Lucario in as well. So yeah, the name might just be a misnomer. And of course, for the side of Team Rocket, I think they have been known to funnel their Venusaur really well. With the Blissey Venusaur combination, we've seen all the way back since the winter tournament, right? And I feel like that's something that they might be bringing in again. And of course, I think we've seen also as well, Blastoise being something in the meta, regardless of what region you're in. Just a very strong, tanky Pokemon that is really able to do so much damage over time, as well as provide a lot of crowd control for big team fights, especially in the Zapdos pit. So I think we'll be seeing a lot of that as well. And yeah, I'm just really excited to see what these two teams actually bring to us today.
Well, one thing they won't be bringing, and we want to touch on very quick for those in there that might not know, Espeon is banned. This is a tournament ban. So technically, I guess there's 5 bans for a game. Espeon on the permanent ban list, and everything else is fair game to be banned and to be chosen. So not going to be seeing too much Espeon action. We're going to let that thing shake itself out and make sure we're not bugged out of control, and not going to have this be the grounds where that occurs, of course. So Espeon, though, good shakeup, but we don't have to worry about today, RT. What's a Pokemon that you'd like to see, especially through these ban phases, that some players might begin to lean on? Maybe a Pokemon that doesn't get much shine otherwise.
Well, we have to kind of see what they choose to ban, and I think what we've seen so far is a lot of what we've seen so far in the Lion City League is that they tend to ban like the support Pokemons, right? Because I think we've all realized how important these Pokemons are in kind of like making sure that your team is able to sustain long enough in team fights. And also, and of course, I think we are talking about Hoopa specifically, with a lot of utility and a lot of just being able to bring so much to the team, right? With all your rotations and the heals, as well as the Unite move especially. But I think with all the bans, we actually might be able to see some of the Pokemons that we don't often get to see. So maybe we will see more Studii and Cramorant, but honestly, it really depends on the teams. And with that, we are kind of going into the character selection screen already between Elite Four and no Lucario. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, these bans are interesting. Blissey, a huge one, of course, that gives a lot of sustain those team fights. Great Unite move, of course. But the thing I'm missing from the list is that Hoopa, which is something I would have thought immediately would have gotten banned, and you just touched on it. So I'm very surprised to not see that on the list.
Well, I think both teams realize, the usefulness of Hoopa as a Pokemon. It just brings so much utility, and I think both teams, they kind of want to make use of that rotational value, especially with Hyperspace Hole, and that is kind of why Hoopa is still inside the team composition. And already on the first game of no Lucarios, we do see 2 Lucarios.
Well, exactly, you're bang on. No, complete misnomer there. Machamp, though, exciting to see a Pokemon that doesn't get too much shine. So it's going to be great just to watch Blue, see how they pursue, see how they pressure, and with bans, does that force people into the 2-1-2? Does people are the teams going to lean into 1-1-3? Is there going to be a different laning strategy taken as well? Let's get into it. That's where I'm about. Let's get into it.
Yeah, and with that, the game is about to begin. Game 1 between Elite Four and No Lucario. We will be looking at what they actually do, right? A 2-1-2 or 1-1-3. And it seems like for the side of Elite Four, they have opted for the 1-1-3. While on the side of No Lucario, they are going for the 2-1-2.
Yep, that's Sylveon going to get powered up, of course. The hyper voice going to be unlocked, and as they're going to roll into pressure the lanes. A central area Machamp. I haven't seen those since Season 1 when people were just picking characters and going places. So I can't wait to see what Elite Four is cooked up here. As No Lucario's already putting some stacks on their attack weight and getting ready to deal some mean damage in the face of Elite Four's lone Lucario up there.
Yep, I think, whenever there's a 1-1-3 and 2-1-2, the top lane, as a Hoopa as well as a Lucario, you definitely want to be applying a lot of pressure and making sure that the other Lucario on the other side does not have enough space to farm at all. And I think, what's interesting on the side of No Lucario is that their team composition seems to be very similar to those that we've seen in the Aeos Cup, right? With the Sylveon scaling very early into the game and just sharing probably the central area with this Venusaur to get it online as soon as possible will be something that we will have to look out for on the side of No Lucario.
Yeah, Lance really working uphill as the Lucario for No Lucarios is already level 5, was able to E-speed through those and get a large majority. Hyper Voice coming in, a good little surf by Slowbro, pushing off Elite Four here as the Sylveon's ready for more wild Pokemon going into that central area. And what a deep invade by No Lucarios here. They're not letting up at all as they're going to try and take that buff they do. And Solo's getting caught out a little bit here, but they're doing some heck of work getting a KO on their way out. Finally, they bite the dust, but Elite Four really had to change their strategy to take care of Solo.
Yeah, I think that's, for the first game, that's really quite a lot of Pokemon we're actually seeing in the central area. It kind of seemed like that was the main lane in this game so far. But anyway, it seems like most of the things have kind of stabilized down a little bit more. The Pokemons are back in their lane trying to farm up, and I think that was actually a really big disruption right on the side. I mean, Solo did try to go for the buffs, managed to get them, but he gets a knockout. But at the same time, he is already level 7, so this Lucario is definitely really scary, especially with the extreme speed and Bone Rush combination.
I mean, Lucario, level 7, Sylveon, level 7. I mean, they've got the level advantages everywhere, and that Sylveon's getting key KOs. Now Elite Four just trying to bubble out No Lucarios a little bit, trying to get some of these Bs because they need the experience. The worst thing he can do is let that Ivysaur catch up, and now just the Hyper Voice mowing down on the Slowbro, and Elite Four pushed back again as that hyperspace hole is unlocked. The highway of Eos Island is there, and No Lucario's coming through. Big engage with the Surf from Elite Four, but they're down on levels. They're pushing forward. Lucario gets a KO on the Slowbro. That's a great one out of the gate here as they're pushing forward, and they're getting all the positional advantages. That Machoke gonna go down. The Pikachu gets a KO back on the Ivysaur. That's huge. That's huge. Elite Four has really shown that they're not willing to quit down here, and that Dreadnought getting leashed a little bit by No Lucario as things settle down a little bit. Ice just waiting to see who they're going to catch with this next surf.
Yeah, it seemed like No Lucario kind of had the lead there in terms of the levels, but Elite Four, they come back so quickly. The levels are quite even right now, and the fight is just not ending.
Absolutely decimated. Are you kidding me? Sylveon, KO streak of 2. Solo, KO streak of 2. KO streak of 3. They're going to get this Dreadnought for free. And now they're going to be able to just rain in some points in this bottom goal zone because they got experience and shields right now. And look at that. Just the points going in. Solo getting the stacks up, getting their 1 Eos energy in there. And No Lucario's looking real good. And what a recovery on that team fight. Poor Lorelei. Already level 7 chunked down to 1/3 HP and can't do anything in the face of a level 10 Lucario.
Yep, I think, that fight right there at the Dreadnought was so beneficial to the side of No Lucario. I mean, Elite Four, they managed to kind of come back a little bit, match the levels on the side of No Lucario. But in terms of taking the team fights, No Lucario had the better engage, right? They do have the Lucario going in with extreme speed, and the Sylveon as well, being able to burst down even the tankiest of Pokemon, and in this case, the Slowbro. And with that, they were able to just take the Dreadnought away from Elite Four, put on some pressure, break the tier 1, get some dunks into the tier 2, and now they are showing a very dominant performance.
Yeah, Machamp uses their Unite move, tries to catch somebody, just doesn't have the damage output, and kind of outscaled by No Lucario as they're still able to push forward into the face, sandbag a couple AOS energy, wait till the Rotom hits, and close that thing out. No Lucario up 233 to 70 here with 5 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, this is really No Lucario is showing us, they're very dominating and aggressive gameplay. But on the side of Elite Four, I think, it's really important for them to be trying to get as much farm as possible. And maybe in this case, actually try and find a straggler on the side of No Lucario, find a KO like what they did at the Dreadnought, get some EXP, especially on this Pikachu. It's not even level 9 yet. It needs its level 9 for its Unite move where, they can put in a lot of pressure during the team fight. So Elite Four, they need to find an angle, find a knockout, get back the EXP that they've lost, and try their best to come back into this game.
They're unable to KO Ice there. Dev getting good support with the with the Hyper Voice. But the thing that's surprising to me, nobody from Elite Four has rotated down. I'm trying to pay attention where Agatha, their Hoopa is. It's still up top. It's still battling. And that's going to give No Lucarios that Dreadnought for free if they want it, as they're all leashing around because Elite Four's just hanging out on top worried about bees. And they're so chunked. They're so low. And here's Solo working through the Dreadnought with no pressure whatsoever. Oh, Unite move by the Pikachu. They're going in on Ice. They're going to see if they can catch him. Ice goes down. They're going to keep the pressure on this top goal zone. Pikachu looking real good. Electro Ball coming through. Dev going to use a Hyper Voice, and they mow down 3 in tandem with the Venusaur. Things getting absolutely nasty up here for No Lucario. Elite Four getting the break speed off of them. What a look. Now the score's 255 to 70. KO streak of 3 for the Dinosaur, and they took the Dreadnought for free.
Yeah, I think what Elite Four was actually trying to go for was to not take the team fight at the Dreadnought, but instead try and get in some AOS energy dunks in at the top lane, right? But, No Lucario, they were quite split across the map and allowed themselves the space to kind of create that cross-map play, getting the Dreadnought and now getting the Rotom as well. So Elite, No Lucario is just one step ahead of Elite Four each leg of this game, and Elite Four, they need to find a way to kind of come back. This slow roll is probably the key Pokemon on the side of Elite Four to actually catch the Venusaur, right? The Venusaur is just able to sustain so long in the team fights just now, and we just see how much he is able to wreak havoc, especially with the level lead that he has. So this is the target that they need to go for, and this is the angle that they might find such that they can come back.
Yeah, it needs to start with filling up the pockets, getting some experience on wild Pokemon, and avoiding getting KO'd in bad fights, essentially. Solo with a good reset there. That's going to be key. We've got 39 seconds until Zapdos, and that's really what Elite Four is going to have to play around. And like you said, I think it's going to lean into that slow bro, finding a single target, and then collapsing around them and trying to win the team fight that way.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think it's also important to note that the Sylveon is definitely something that can mow down at the slow bro really quickly. So they have to make sure that when they engage, they have, the Machamp as well, kind of targeting this Sylveon that is really squishy, right? And even now at this point, right before Zapdos is spawning, a little fight just kind of broke up, and now No Lucario does have the advantage in terms of the positioning in the Zapdos pit.
That's exactly what they want. They're trying to catch the Machamp with a little surf there. They're pushing forward, and they're in the bottleneck. Good defense by No Lucario, not willing to chip in on the Zapdos here. Let's see if they can find somebody out. That's Bruno playing very far forward. Solo is into it, using the E-Speed resets to really get some good damage in. Hyper Voice, as well as the Venusaur chasing. Good reset by Elite Four. They're right back into the action. That Venusaur's putting the pressure on. Bruno goes down without even using their Unite move on anyone. That's huge. No Lucario has all of the impetus now in the middle. What a KO by them. So much so, they're ready to start Zapdos. They thought the key to the puzzle was the slow bro. They took them out, and now they're ripping this thing. Here comes Lance to make a hero play. Let's see if they can get on the E-Speed or anything. Right side team takes it off the Sylveon, and here we go. Now the KOs are going to start flying here as Unite moves are as well. 3 players down for Elite Four. No Lucario looking huge. No escape for anyone. Good night, Machamp. You do not belong here. This is the No Lucario show, and they're reigning in points.
They are definitely riding on the momentum already, right in the mornings of today, and I think No Lucario, they actually managed to find the angle, right? Like exactly what you said. The slow bro did kind of unite the Lucario on the side of No Lucario, but unfortunately there wasn't enough follow-up, and that wasn't the right target to go for. We saw how Dev, this Sylveon was just able to hyper voice his way through this slow bro, and with the slow bro out, they were just so confident to just take the Zapdos fight. They just took it and And Elite Four, they just couldn't find a way to come into the Zapdos pit, contest it properly, and they lose the team fight there as well. I mean, they're going for a final push, but at the same time, they need more than 500 points. I don't think this is possible at this point.
Yeah, not with 20 seconds left on the clock. Now we're in garbage time. We're looking to pad our stats a little bit as No Lucario is looking to take as many KOs as they can to really boost those damage numbers that we'll look at here soon, I'm sure, as Venusaur gets another KO streak of 2. Almost synonymous with No Lucario's Venusaur and KO streaks of 2. We've seen them all game long, and that is exactly the type of performance they want here out of the gate in Game 1 of the Lion City League Qualifier number 3. What a show by No Lucario.
Yep, and I think this is exactly why Lucario is just not banned on their side. Solo just does so much for his team, getting the MVP as well. 295 points dunked in, and not to mention being a really big part of the team fights in most of the fights just now. I think No Lucario has done extremely well in this first game. They were consistently in the lead as we see from the scoreboards, and in terms of like the damage as well, they managed to take a lot of the team fights very well and very aggressively. So Elite Four, I think right now, for Game 2, they need to reconsider the bans. Maybe ban out this Lucario, maybe ban out this Venusaur. But at the same time, that leaves the Blastoise wide open for them to take as well. And we know that No Lucario, they are very versatile players. They're able to play a lot of different Pokemon. So in a sense, they kind of have to choose their own poison, right?
I mean, 84k by Solo. I mean, 81k on the Venusaur by Wraith. If I'm in Elite Four, I'm saying, hey, 81k by Wraith. I'm saying 84k by Solo. Yeah, maybe those are the Pokemon you have to get rid of, and maybe we do have to put them on Blastoise to try and beat us. Especially if Elite Four has no intention of playing the Venusaur themselves.
Yeah, and I think especially with a possible Blissey ban again. I mean, Blissey being such an important support Pokemon, especially with, the Buddy Berry nerf as well as Scorchio nerfs. I think by banning this Venusaur and Blissey, the Lucario and maybe one other Pokemon, I think they have a better chance that way, right? I think the Slowbro pick is something that we haven't really seen as much anymore, but with the bans, I feel like Slowbro has a lot of potential. It's able to lock down a single target Pokemon, and if that target is chosen wisely, it's going to be able to turn the team fights to your favor.
Yeah, the way I see Slowbro is only as strong as your communication amongst your team. Because if Slowbro is not engaging with the Surf on the right target or at the right time, and there's no follow-up, similar with their Unite move, if there's no follow-up, then that Pokemon doesn't look as strong as it could otherwise. On the other hand, you have a Slowbro that goes in, catches somebody with a triple Surf and nails the right target with the Unite move, and suddenly it looks like you're beating down a bunch of toddlers with some absolute monsters, and it's a whole different ballgame. Unfortunately for Elite Four, we didn't quite see that at the Slowbro, and for No Lucarios, their Slowbro really didn't need to do that. So if Slowbro is picked by both teams, I'd love to see some of that quintessential communicative Slowbro play.
Yeah, I think the Slowbro actually would have worked really well with the Machamp on the side of Elite Four, right? Like you said, getting the Surf in and positioning yourself for that Machamp Unite move would have been a really big, catch for the side up Elite Four, and with that they might have been able to turn the fight. But of course, at the same time, like I said, the Venusaur is just something that's really hard for them to deal with, especially because they don't really have that much burst damage. But on the side of No Lucario, they do have that Sylveon coming in. So there's a lot of things that I feel that Elite Four, they kind of have to find out how to kind of counter this team composition. I mean, this is one of the team compositions we saw in the ALS Cup. So there has been a lot of plays about how to actually kind of counter this, and that's kind of what they need to do.
You're exactly right. And if I'm Elite Four, you have to pick what direction you want to force the other team in and focus on one thing, whether that's like we said, hey, if it's Lucario and Venusaur and then you try and have Blissey on both sides of the map, fine. But whatever Solo was doing that game, I wouldn't want him on Lucario again. That's like priority number one to me. Like, let's just axe that completely. We already have a player that's comfortable on Machamp. Maybe that becomes, your top path player. Maybe you go to a 2-1-2 and try and do something like that. Get a little clever, but I'm saying no to Lucario, to no Lucario, to be quite honest. That's where my head's at immediately.
I think we're all done with seeing Lucario every single game, and just getting that ban out of the way would just make our lives a lot more exciting. We get to see more games without this Lucario, and I think that's probably what we might actually see in the next game.
Well, you know, with a Machamp that scales so well too, if you are going to hand over a Lucario, maybe you fade off of Lucario on your own side, and then you use the Machamp and maybe 2-1-2 to put pressure back on Lucario that way. Like, there are ways to work around the Lucario. I'm just saying, if I'm an Elite Four, let's just take that out of the equation. Let's present a different problem. Let's find different solutions. Whatever that is, doesn't involve Lucario. That's where I'm at. I would love to see also a Sylveon of their own. That's great. Especially again, like you said, in tandem with the Slowbro for engages. If you already, you know, in my mind, I keep thinking Elite Four is going to keep using Machamp because I don't see that being banned, and it is a strong character, especially if you have somebody that's comfortable with it. So Sylveon looks great. I also, you know, why not get, you know, we saw the Decidueye, you know, Trevenant combination be super successful. Let's get crazy out here. Come on, show me some.
Yeah, I think I totally agree with you. I think fighting fire with fire is definitely a very good option on their side, right? I mean, they really lacked something that kind of scaled early in the game, and because they didn't manage to get the first Dreadnought as well, they kind of just constantly had to play from the back. So having something that scales early in the game will help them to challenge, you know, all this early game pressure, and I think maybe from there they will be able to kind of come in as well. And I guess, you know, I think in the previous game as well, no Lucario, they managed to do the rotations really well, especially with the use of this Hoopa. So maybe Hoopa is a Pokemon that you don't really want to see, or you might just want to ban it as well, right? Because, you know, that much utility, and I guess room to kind of just rotate up and heal is so important in kind of like changing the team fight as well. So maybe just removing that entirely. I mean, everyone has been abusing that Pokemon. It's in every single game as well. And I think, you know, by removing it, you know, people need to adapt, and maybe, you know, if no Lucario has so many things to adapt to, they might not be able to find the answer to Elite Four strategy as well.
Look, I am with you. Get Hoopa off the table too. Get rid of Hoopa, get rid of Lucario, choose 2 other Pokemon, whatever you feel most comfortable with. But I want to see some teams go face to face and just slug this thing out. No resets for full HP, no bliss assistances. You know, get rid of all of that and have people just hit the buttons, use their abilities, and see who survives to the end. That's what I'm here. Let's see an absolute slobber knocker.
Yeah, I think that would be very interesting. And with that, we are going into the second game between No Lucario and Elite Four, and it seems like the bans are a little bit different from the side of Elite Four. They have decided to go for the Blastoise and Sylveon ban.
That's ridiculous. I'm seeing this, and first off, I don't know what the fear is. There's the fear of just the entire like weight of the world in that Greninja. I have no idea why it's being selected. Like, if I'm them, I'm like, okay, you know, Greninja, give it up. With the Trevenant is back into play, you know, no team picking that up, kind of surprising. I would love to see it. But the Slowbros are back. Big fan, of course, and I love this Greninja. I hope Dev locks in this Greninja. Greninja play is always a good time.
Oh, I think you mean the Gengar, and I think that's a very interesting thing. Greninja is the one that's banned, but
the worst. Throw me away. Okay. Straight trash.
But God, okay, yeah, it looks like a very, very interesting team compositions on both sides. I think with the Aegislash and Gengar being swapped out, as in swapped in from the side of NL, and as well as the fact that, you know, Sylveon has been banned, so that means the early game is less pressurizing for the side of Elite Four, and perhaps they will be able to kind of find an angle into this.
I mean, they need to find many angles into this, I think. Just looking at the no Lucario kind of scalability between Ice and, of course, the Gengar, certainly not the Greninja. They've got some great late game potential, and Elite Four is lacking, which means lacking in terms of in comparison, I'll say. So I want to see Elite Four try and pressure early, try and take advantage of the fact that this is just a Ghastly, this is just a Honedge sitting on the other side, and get some early KOs and trying to really push an advantage here. Like, getting a KO on a Bruno here would be huge. Solo, just going by here, but Elite Four putting the pressure on. Great KO on the Hoopa. That's exactly what I'm talking about. If you're Elite Four, that is what you want. Get those KOs early, then go take all their stuff.
Yeah, I mean, now Elite Four is playing a 3v2 at bottom lane, and this Pikachu, it scales earlier in the game as compared to, you know, the Hoopa as well as like the Lucario, so they're able to kind of put in a lot of pressure. They find 2 knockouts this early into the game and channel and funnel this Pikachu, pressuring bottom lane so much, and I think they are really focusing on the bottom lane, right? I mean, they have rotated the central area Pokemon down here as well. I think they really want to make sure that they have a very strong foothold and not lose the first Dreadnought like they did in the first game.
Well, they have a good start. They got a good portion of the bees, and they were able to push off No Lucario to the point of retreat, sending the Haunter back to its central area to get its levels up that way. Blue taking some middle action here as Wraith is playing kind of up front and really intense here, getting chased down a little bit by Elite Four, taking a nap, and I'm sure Elite Four would like to have them take that nap back in their spawn point as they're just blinked out of existence. The Poopa ruling right back through. Elite Four holding it down really well in Game 2 as compared to Game 1.
Yep, I think they realize the importance of the bottom lane, and they are able to find these early KOs to kind of give them the lead, because, you know, their team composition doesn't scale as late game as No Lucario side, so they need to make sure that they're able to win the early game so that they can snowball into the late game as well. They don't want to leave any space for No Lucario to farm up and get the levels that they need in order for them to, you know, win all the team fights in the late game. But I say this, and Dev is actually going to go in for Lance, but does not find the KO. That maybe gets dunked in though.
Support. Great support by the Pikachu here to get the KO on the Doublade. Absolutely awesome rotation by Lorelei there to help out Lance. Good look. I love the flow of the names too. Oh, Lance, don't go down here. Don't get caught by Dev. Lorelei on the retreat as well. Able to get out. Okay, good. Take a deep breath, Elite Four. You got out of there as the Gengar was rolling through, or the Haunter was rolling through. What did you know? As soon as I was praising them, they went right back in the action and got absolutely buckled. What happened? That's a Haunter out there. Come on. Come on, Lance, you can't do that now. Agatha's going down. The Elite Four's getting taken out by Red here. This is nasty business by No Lucario. You can't let Dev get this much steam. The Dreadnaught's on the map. Lance is trying to get in there. A little E-speed in, a little E-speed out. But now they're so far up in the top right corner of your screen here that No Lucario can kind of move however they want. Are they even going to get it engaged? A big Surf chips up 3. That's a place to start as Agatha gets telekinesis by Wraith. Wraith on the retreat here, but open the door for Solo as they're pushing forward. Here comes the Doublade trying to chunk in damage. Electro Ball by the Pikachu trying to catch Solo. They get Solo down. They get Solo down. Blue's going to push forward with that energy. Another telekinesis here. Now the Gengar's getting unleashed. They take out the Cinderace. There's 3 players down for Elite Four. Make it 4 players down. Nope, the Hoopa, Agatha just barely hanging on as the Gengar gets a KO streak of 2, which is actually Agatha's Pokemon. Are you kidding me? And then they're going to swing it back in the other way, and now they're going to rain in points. No Lucario looking great down here.
I think the timing of which No Lucario chooses to engage the team fights is something that is extremely good. I mean, the fights that we've seen so far in Game 1 and Game 2 has been very long and extended for Dreadnought, right? But they always manage to get the central area Pokemon to the levels that they need. Once they have the Unite move, they go in full guns blazing, I would say, and because they have that Unite move, they're just able to go towards the backline, get rid of the Cinderace early, and from there onwards, the whole team on the side of No Lucario is just able to pick the Elite Four off one by one. A very strong and dominating performance this early in the game from the side of No Lucario.
No, that is spot on. I mean, No Lucario literally just hanging out. I mean, Kiss just chipping in this Rotom almost for free. We're gonna see who's gonna take it. It is the Gengar, I believe, at the very last second. And now they're just going in for a deep engage. They're pushing back here as they're chasing Solo down again. And the Gengar's still up and moving. Agatha's gonna come in for the support. 2 players down for Elite Four though. KO streak of 2 for Dev. Never mind. That Dream Eater, it's an absolute nightmare out here on Eos Island in the top path for Elite Four.
Yep, and Dev just kind of just standing very menacingly over the tier. 1 goes on, just not even dunking in, just kind of a little bit of a bad manners kind of thing going on the side of No Lucario, I would say. Oh, Solo.
No, stop. Stop going into Solo and Dev. Stop it. Elite Four, please. Stop jumping into the pad. Lorelei just going in for some action here, saying, I got Agatha and Blue for some support. Let's get into it here. And they're just taking a, get a KO, please. Get yourself something on the board here. No, Lucario, Unite, move back. Are you kidding me? Okay, at least they got a couple KOs here. At least Blue's starting to heat up, but don't take it down on Dev. Dev gets a KO on the Pikachu moving back through and absolutely chews through the Cinderace. What's a bunny to a ghost? Get out of here.
Yeah, and I think, that fight right there, Elite Four, they probably shouldn't have engaged so quickly into that fight. I think they didn't have the levels to kind of take on the side of No Lucario. But okay, fine. They do manage to find some value, especially with the Cinderace getting 2 knockouts on the side of No Lucario. Get the level 12, and that was, I think, good enough for them. They aren't going to contest No Lucario much at this Dreadnought because they don't have a lot of the Pokemon there in position already. So they have to find other angles to come back into this game, and they're gonna give this tier 2 Go Zone all to the side of No Lucario without much contest at all. Oh no.
Why did the Pikachu go there? Pikachu, please protect, save yourself. I mean, No Lucario is looking to just play into Elite Four's, just home base here is almost what it looks like. Now, they can't overextend and they can't hemorrhage experience back the other way, and the Slowbro once taking out the opposing Slowbro is a good place to start. But just Solo is ready for action, and so is Ice as they're going in. Are they going to take care of Agatha? They do. That's Solo getting the credit for that KO. Yeah, they have a huge lead. We're watching the game the whole time. But the Aegis Slash goes down, and this is a way to just give up the lead here. I know they're up big on the scoreboard, but they're also up big in experience. They can't just give away these KOs for free in Elite Four because they're feeling a little cocky.
Yeah, we definitely see the confidence in terms of how they are playing on the side of No Lucario. So I think, Elite Four can make use of that, right? Make sure that, they get so overconfident and find a really good engagement. But the thing is, for the side of Elite Four, I'm not seeing them engage as a group as much or as well as how No Lucario manages to do so. I feel like this Cinderace has managed to get, some of the knockouts onto the side of No Lucario. But at the same time, he goes down really quickly as well because his team is just not around him to protect this damage dealer. And I think that's kind of what they need to take note of. They need the Slowbro, they need the Lucario to kind of like flesh out the targets on the side of No Lucario so that this Cinderace can start doing what it needs to be doing.
I mean, the Unite move, the Hoopa might be on bound, but they're putting the pressure on. They already took out Blue, the Cinderace, and now they're just going to chase down the Elite Four. Unite move comes through. Ice and Wraith don't even move. They just go straight into it. Lucario goes down. That's 3 players now for Elite Four. They're on the chase. Goodbye, Agatha. And now all the Pikachu's left. The Pikachu's just back of base. No Lucario is going to take this one, and you don't need a prism monitor to see how clear this victory was. Holy smokes, No Lucario just melting them down out here, and it's ducket time. Let's just see how high up they rail up this scoreboard, because now they get those buckets in for free.
Yep, totally agree with what you are saying. Elite Four, they don't stand a chance even defending this Go Zone of theirs. No Lucario is going in so deep and just dunking in so much points as well. 861 to 61. That is a lot. That is a lot of a point lead that they have, and I think this game is already over.
Yep, I mean, technically there's time on the clock, so in theory they could maybe win. Now, what we like to call is the logic test here. If everybody on Elite Four has full pockets of 50 and everybody scores, they're still losing by a ton. And usually you don't just get those 50s in for free because you have to do it the hard way. So I'm saying No Lucario's gonna win this one 2-0.
Yep, I definitely agree with you right there. And I think they really deserve this victory as well. They have been experimenting with different team compositions, and even with the Silveron Band, they kind of come back in, find an answer to the early game and late game in terms of how they engage in the team fights, and they are able to find a lot of value with this team composition. And I think this Gengar, just too much burst damage for the side of Elite Four. They just can't really deal with this at all.
Yep, Elite Four didn't jump onto the squishier ghost targets in the Hone Edge and the Ghastly early enough in the game to really keep them from getting too much steam. And of course, even the Haunter at level 7, I mean, it was coming through and being an absolute mutant, getting a bunch of KOs early. Then that was the experience snowball, and look at this. Dev rightfully getting the crown here, 275 points in, and a whole mess ton of KOs as well.
Yeah, and I think we see once again a very dominating kind of performance for the side of No Lucario. They were consistently in the lead once again, and manages to get all of the objectives as well. They do get both Rotoms as well as both Dreadnoughts, and that really just helps them to scale into the late game where this team composition is going to be so scary. You have two stage 3 Pokemons dealing so much damage. Ice on the Aegislash as well as Dev on this Gengar. And look at the damage coming in from this Gengar, 90,000 damage. It's just so much. And I think with the squishy Pokemon on the side of Elite Four, you have Blue on the Cinderace as well as Lorelei on the Pikachu, and these Pokemon just fall so quickly to this Gengar, and they're just not able to find the angle in this game at all.
Yeah, especially with it in tandem as how crisp Solo's E-speed resets are. I mean, it's literally 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. You're getting taken out by one of the two. And I mean, we literally watched them move together for the last 5 minutes of the game.
Right.
Like, if you wanted Solo, you're getting Dev. If you want Dev, Solo's there. So, I mean, what a show here by No Lucario. They take this first match 2-0 from Elite Four, and just great work. And that's a great spot to start if you're trying to build momentum for the rest of the day.
Yep, and there we have it. We have the standings for Group C right now, with No Lucario winning the matches against Elite Four in a best of 3 with a score of 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, I know Group C, it looks, it looks like as if we're missing a squad here. I think Star9 may have decided to step down and not play. So No Lucario is going to take down Group C here. Of course, you can't have them play it, over and over and over and over and over again. So No Lucario here with a very commanding showing in Group C, of course.
Yep, and this is not the end for them, right? We will be seeing them once again in day 2, where they will be fighting it out in the Elite and Master Division tomorrow. And I think from there as well, we will be able to see the scores for the other groupings as well. And I think we have to kind of wait a little bit more to see where that actually leads, right? And we will have a lot more exciting games coming in as well.
This is our next match, Kimochi NSV, no survivors. That's an intense name, which I'm expecting an intense squad here going straight into it. And of course, you mentioned, the winner of each group is going to move on to tomorrow's play to try and win their tier of bracket that they've qualified for. But what I love about the Lion City League, and something that it does so amazingly well, is it pits, just if you don't do great in your group, you get paired up against the other teams that didn't do great in their group, and you have something to play for here. Whether it's the master or the challenger, the placing, you still have some prize on the line. You still have something to play for. And of course, you're not just getting decimated by, the number 1 team in your region over and over again. You actually get to play other teams at your skill level and really see how you measure up kind of in your own, we'll say, weight class. Love that about this. And of course, there's going to be more great gameplay to happen tomorrow. But we still need to figure out who's going to be in which group tomorrow. And Kimochi versus NSV is who's going to be our next match tonight. I'm excited.
Yep, and with that, we will be going for a short break first. Give the teams a little bit more time to group up again, and then we will see you guys soon. And welcome back everyone to the Lion City League Pokemon Unite tournament. We just saw the first match between NL as well as Elite Four, and NL winning very dominantly with a 2-0. So before we go into the next game, let us show you guys the updated standings of each group. So in Group A, we have Team Renaissance, Pokemon, and Hawaii. And Hawaii has unfortunately forfeited from this competition. So Renaissance is the winner for this group.
Yeah, Renaissance, of course, earning their victory over Pokemon Hawaii. Unfortunately, like you said, giving up 2 games either way. But Pokemon certainly happy with where they're going to be and going to be contending in the Master category tomorrow.
And of course, in Group B, this is the group that we will be spectating later. We see that Kimochi has already won the first matchup against Pokeballers, and the game that we will be watching will be Kimochi versus NSV.
Yeah, there's a lot of work to be done in this group, so we can't wait to see how it shakes out. Because not only are we going to see Kimochi face off against NSV, we're also going to watch Pokeballers play off against NSV as well. So we're going to get the full texture of what this group is going to look like live on camera, and I can't wait to commentate it.
And this was the first game that we saw just now. No Lucario taking the win against Elite Four with a very dominating performance of 2-0. And with that, Group A and Group C has kind of already ended. So we will be following through with B. And like Dupes Next say, we will be watching most of the games between Kimochi and NSV, as well as NSV versus Pokeballers.
Now, RT, maybe you can tell the folks at home a little bit, and definitely just them, not just me, a little bit about NSV. We're going to be watching them twice. They're going to be the team that's going to get the most exposure here on day 1 of the Lion City League. So I'd like to know a little bit more about them.
Yep, so NSV is kind of a team that kind of came up only in Season 3 of Pokemon Unite, and they are formed from some of the members in Pokemon Unite Singapore who have a lot of years of experience in other mobiles such as Dota. So I think we have seen them here before in Lion City League. They have been able to do quite a lot, coming in as like the underdogs of this series as well as this game, and so I think we can expect really good gameplay from them, seeing how they are able to kind of translate their skills from Dota into Pokemon Unite.
General MOBA knowledge does seem to translate well, and of course give people a good foundation for success when approaching this game as well. What about Kimochi?
Well, Kimochi is definitely another team that is formed within the Pokemon Unite Singapore community, and they have been playing with each other since I think Season 1. They are in real life friends, and I think quite a consistent team as well, right? They've been playing all the way from Season 1. They know how each of them play with each other, and we can definitely expect them to do pretty well in this as well. They have some competition experience, especially in Friday Night Unite, and as well as Lion City League. They are some people who we've seen before, and I think this matchup is something that will be very nice to watch.
If there's anything that I know, it's that teams that have stuck together have seen success together, speaking from my direct experience with NA and EU. So I love to hear stories like that of teams going through it, getting into events, conquering adversity, and taking big steps forward together as a pack. It's great to see, and I want to see them play to see if that shines through, right? The sum of their parts, is greater than the sum of them as individuals. Love to see those types of team dynamics.
Yep, and I think they have definitely been practicing a lot in the last few days. I've always seen them online when I'm online, and even when I log off, they are still kind of online as well. So I think they definitely put in the practice, and NSV, they didn't have that great of a result the last Lion City League. They did lose to the Pokepath girls, if I'm not wrong, and I think this Lion City League, the third and last qualifier, is really when they want to prove themselves again, that they are worthy of the championship points that they have, and also worthy to be a team that we will see in the LCL Championships itself.
Yeah, like you said, there's more than just money on the line tomorrow. It's these championship points as well that go towards that qualification to be a top 8 team, to play for kind of that next higher tier of prizes in that kind of top 8 invite only structure that all these teams are striving to make. And again, what's wonderful is you don't necessarily need to make it to the elite category the following day to earn yourself quality championship points to make your mark and be in that top 8. So NSV certainly in a good position here to make a run and qualify themselves for that.
Yeah, and we keep talking about NSV, but I also think that Kimochi, they know that this is the last qualifier and they want to be doing well as well. They want to make sure that, you know, they are performing to the best of their abilities too, and also try to take that position to join the championship points, to join the championships in June as well. Because like you said, there is going to be a bigger prize pool and there's also bragging rights that come with it.
Bragging rights are the best kind of rights, RT, and those are the ones that I'm all about. Now, Kimochi, again, squaring off against NSV. We're entering this band format again. Is there any pulse that you might have from either of these teams of something we might expect, or maybe something that you've heard the rumblings of that they're going to kind of use as a strategy today?
Well, I think for the players on the side of Kimochi, we do know that Imokia, he really plays a lot of Machamp, so we might be seeing another Machamp again this time, or you know, he might actually go back to the Lucario. But come on, we all want to see the Machamp game instead of a Lucario. And of course, another player that I think I want to point out for the side of Kimochi is Fats. He is a really good slowball player, and I think he has been able to utilize it extremely well in, you know, previous competitions in Friday Night Unite as well as the previous Lion City League, and making sure that, you know, the single target lockdown is on the right target as well, right? So I think two are the ones that we kind of want to see how they kind of engage together, especially as a slowbro and a Machamp or Lucario is something that will be very strong on their side.
My heart tells me that if they go with Slowbro and we're going down the line to communication, the experienced mobile players of the Dota 2 background and the team that's been together from Season 1 certainly check the solid communication boxes. So we're going to see, this is what my heart's telling me, RT. We're going to see some good cohesive team fights here and good engagements. That's what I believe, especially given what I know about these teams through you, of course.
Yep, and not just that, I think I want to point out also that NSV, they have this tendency and have this desire for some reason or not to actually flip the Zapdos. So I think, you know, early positioning into the Zap pit for both teams will be extremely important. And yeah, it will be very interesting to see, you know, who actually manages to get the Zapdos in such a situation.
Interesting that you say that, because there's certainly team compositions you can build to give yourself the edge when it comes to that flipping the Zapdos strategy. So if it's a team that looks to lean into that, I would like to see if their picks follow suit.
Yeah, and I think, you know, this is the best of 3, right? And even if they lose the first game, the other team will be able to adapt to them. So if NSV is really going for a very flip Zapdos kind of team composition, then I think the bans will show in the second game that Kimochi will be choosing these Pokemon will ban the Pokemon that allow for all this flipping to happen, and NSV, they will have to come back in with a new strategy, right? So I think that's one of the best parts about pick and ban phase, right? Because we get to see a variety of strategies coming in, even whether or not you are the winners of the first match or not. And I think that would be like quite interesting to see, because if not, usually we always see like the team that wins kind of keeps the team composition, but we've seen already in the earlier game just now, NL, they kind of changed the team compositions a little bit, and I think that's what we're going to see in this matchup between Kimochi and NSV.
Well, I want to see where these bans land, because that is the most riveting part for me. As you know, our tournament structures that we do in our grassroots levels don't often have a ban phase. There you go. Goodbye, Hoopa. Goodbye, Blissey. Let's go. We're going to the face tonight between Kimochi and NSV, and you called it out. We're seeing a Machamp here, and I love it. I love it.
Well, it does seem that the Machamp is on the other side of what we kind of predicted Imokia to actually be playing on Kimochi's side. But Yeah, it seems like Emokia has went for the Trevenant instead, and this time Fats as well. Oh no, Fats, he looks like he's going back for his slow roll pick. And once again, it really comes down to the last 5 seconds because teams like to do this where they just don't check box, the Pokemon that they're actually selecting, and we can only tell the team composition in the last 5 seconds.
Well, it looks like we're going with a heavy defender comp here as there's Blastoise, Slowbro, and Trevenant.
Wow.
Gonna try and wall up for that Cramorant, of course. And looking downstairs, we've got Eldegoss with her amazing hat on, of course. Maybe it's the hat squad, right? We got Slowbro, Eldegoss, Greninja, all in nice hats. And then Machamp gonna be leading the charge with a Blastoise on their back.
Yeah, and what I've known about Crow is that he is the OG Eldegoss player. He has been playing Blissey, but unfortunately it has been banned, so I think he gets to show off, this nice hollow of his on his Eldegoss, and I think he's really proud of that. And with that, we are going into the first game between Kimochi and NSV. It seems like a very different strategy on both sides. Kimochi opting for the 2-1-2, while NSV opting for the 1-1-3.
Yeah, and it's going to be really important where Ken elects to go here and which way they want to throw their weight, as that Alolan Ninetales up top is just being a menace in the face of that Machop here. But Ken decides bottom path is where I want to be, and they've left the Oddnose there for them, as Machop just getting chased out by this Phantom and this little Alolan Vulpix here.
Yep, I think this is a matchup at top lane where Kimochi needs to be winning this, right? They have put in 2 Pokemons up top against one Machop, and I think, they need to make sure that they win the early game. I think the Vulpix needs a little bit more to actually scale up a little bit. It needs its level 4, and from there on, it's going to be very strong pressure at the top lane. Meanwhile, at the bottom lane, I think we just saw NSV do a really interesting rotation. The Frogadier just now did go down first to try and get an early rotation down, but then afterwards he is now at top lane, so it's a very interesting thing that NSV is actually trying to do, to try and find some early knockouts, but they don't really get that, but it's still kind of interesting to see.
Absolutely. Crow still struggling, sitting on that Gossifleur. Really wants to hit Eldegoss here in short order as, Poggy right there, already the Slowbro. And of course, we're still just shy of that Wartortle for Devastation as well. And if they can do anything to keep this Audino from going to NSV, that would be huge. Kimochi putting good pressure on. They're going to see if they can find it here. There's the Eldegoss ticking over, getting that Devastation's on the road. They're getting changed. Big Surf by Fast. Oh, but Devastation gets out. They're going to make it out. What a snake! Dressed as a turtle, but making snake moves out here, just slithering away through the tall grass.
Yep, that hit, but that really got him out of trouble. I think Fats almost landed that surf, and that would have been devastating on Devastation. But he does manage to get out. He gets his level 5, and bottom lane, it seems to be quite even, right? Even though it's a 2v3, this Cramorant just able to pressure so much in lanes such that there isn't that much of a benefit to the side of NSV. But at the same time, I say that and a fight at top just kind of happened as well.
I mean, who needs an axe to cut down a tree when you got a Machoke and a Greninja? But the Slowbro goes down in the face of the Cramorant. Here we go. Omen making it out on just the razor-thin margin of HP that they had, getting a big KO on the Slowbro. You love to see that if you're Kimochi, a subspecies now sitting at level 7. They're coming in themselves. That's a rapid spin water spout action here, as they're already level 8, and they might get level 9 before this Dreadnought if they can find themselves a wild Pokemon, and that's exactly what they're looking for.
Yeah, and I think if they do manage to get a Blastoise before this Dreadnought fight, it's going to be extremely hard for NSV to kind of contest this. But NSV, right now, if they are all gathered at Dreadnought, and if they realize that it's a 5v4, they should go for the Dreadnought as soon as they can. Subspecies has really come back, and they are going to be pushing back to the side of NSV and take this Dreadnought right from their noses.
I mean, Wartortle ends up taking it, not a Blastoise yet, but that Trevenant Emokia doing a ton of work, getting a couple KOs there. I think that's their second one of that exchange. Great work. Big Surf by Fat. Going in deep is the Trevenant, getting a KO streak of 2. Rapid Spin Blastoise taking out the Greninja as well. Crow is on the back line here as the points are raining in for Kimochi. What a Unite move, getting another KO with the back of the Alolan Ninetales. Oh, I thought they were going to chase that Wartortle and close it out, but that 40 points going in for the big overdunk is going to be important. The surface too late, doesn't matter. Fat's boxing out Poggy, and what a play by Kimochi off that Dreadnought.
Yeah, they find so much value in that. They wanted to go for the level 9 before the Dreadnought fight, but once they saw that NSV was kind of engaging on his team members, he does rotate back downwards, and that was kind of enough for them to get the Dreadnought, get the first tier as well, get so many knockouts during that fight as well. NSV, they shouldn't have, tried to fight them at the tier 1. They end up giving so much knockouts to the side of Kimochi, and Kimochi now, they are, in the lead by quite a lot in terms of the points as well as the levels.
Big KO on the A9 by Greninja. That's good experience going their way. They're going to see if Poggy can keep the team alive, or keep the team back as the Trevenant Mokia comes through. But that's a big Unite move by the Trevenant coming through, and the damage is going to be amped up. And Mokia goes down to the Eldegoss. Are you kidding me? Crow still working through. They get chipped down by the Slowbro. What is going on down here? Excuse me, the Cramorant, as they're playing ball, and Ama is all the way on the backside of nowhere as the Cramorant gets another KO. Blastoise taking down the Machamp, and what was in the face of Kimochi, NSV goes down. They start falling like dominoes. That Rotom is stopped, and now the points are going in the other way.
Yeah, I think this combination of these three blue Pokemons, they are doing so much for the side of Kimochi, right? Like this Cramorant, we haven't seen Cramorant so much in the meta right now, but because of this bans, they are able to make use of the burst damage coming in from this blue bird, and they are able to capitalize on that with the Blastoise being in the front line. This Blastoise is doing so much for the team, it's just not going down. And with the level lead that it has, its defensive stat as well is consistently increasing and making him even more tanky and even harder to bring down.
What kind of fertilizer are they using on Eos Island? This tree is huge and it's getting disgusting. It got a KO streak of 2. How many of those has it had? Emokia feeling it, level 11, gross. And it's just working its way through NSV like a hot knife through butter. Kimochi looking good out here.
Yeah, and I think, I totally agree with that, because NSV, they don't really have an answer to all these tanky Pokemon on the side of Kimochi. I mean, they do have the Greninja that's able to bring them down a little bit, but it's also very squishy. With the Trevenant and Blastoise in the front line, this Greninja is just finding it extremely hard to kind of find the right engages onto the side of Kimochi. But at the same time, now at top, it seems like they are trying to push in with the Unite moves that they have. This is a good thing that NSV should try to find for now, right? Because they need the EXP to kind of come back into this game.
Devastation with a good Unite move. They're going to see if they can convert. The Greninja closes out the Cramorant. That's 2 more players going down as the Machamp takes care of the Trevenant here. And now it's free reign on that goal zone. Devastation using a great Unite move. NSV following suit in short order. KOs across the board. This Rotom's free. What an exchange, and what a way for NSV to start clawing back into this one.
Yeah, they got the levels that they needed, got the Unite moves, and with that, they knew it was the right time to kind of engage. Kimochi, they just got caught off guard. They were playing split across the entirety of the map, and because of the NSV, they managed to find a lot of value from that. I think, they are losing in terms of the points, but in terms of the levels, they have caught up to Kimochi.
And that's what's important here, because they're not so far behind on the scoreboard for it to be too bad. And I've been saying devastation. It's devastation. So excuse me out there. That's an even stronger name. Love it even more. And I'm going to make sure I get it right the rest of the way here. As this Dreadnought's got about 8 seconds on it. Kimochi's rolling through. They're going to see if they pressure it or if NSV has actually any interest in that Poggy getting stuffed by Emokia in the top, trying to catch a surf on the tree, catch him a little bit as they're going to scamper away. 20 seconds till Zapdos, but right now it's about Dreadnought, and it looks like Kimochi's going to get it for free.
Yep, and I think, they are actually spending quite a lot of time at the Dreadnought, because their team composition is really about sustained team fights, and that is kind of how they want to go into this Zapdos fight. For the side of NSV, they have the levels that they need. They just need to be able to engage them in the right way as well. Line them all up so that, Arma here on the Machamp can get in a good Unite move, and that will be probably the angle that they want to look into for the Zapdos fight.
Well, the pressure's on NSV to do something, because the other one's down on the scoreboard here. We're going to see how they choose to engage and who's tired of waiting. It looks like Fats is tired of waiting. Goes in for a surf back the other way. Rapid spin water spout. Going to push through. Unite move by somebody. Yes, giant water shuriken, and then the Blastoise right back. Here we go. We're going to try and ping down some KOs. That's a Trevenant Unite move, getting a KO on Greninja with the Blastoise, and here we go. The Cramorant gets the opposing Blastoise as well. All 5 players down for NSV. That's a complete ace, and that forces the surrender before Kimochi can even get the points in. Absolute disgusting business by Kimochi in the middle. What a game, what a team fight, closing the door, slamming the door shut in NSV's face.
Yeah, and I think, the bands definitely played a huge part in this, right? I think without the bands, we wouldn't be seeing this team composition coming in from the side of Kimochi, and they are able to surprise NSV, with Omen on the Kremlin just being the MVP of this match, doing so much damage, and of course, Fats and subspecies working together so incredibly well, sustaining so long in all the team fights, such that, Omen is consistently just alive in the backline, just able to do so much damage in for his team. And I think, Kimochi, just very nice victory here. I think they really showcase, how teamwork and coordination comes into play here. Really good job for them.
Yeah, I really just have to touch on Emokia here. 53k damage and just an absolute mutant all over the map in that game. I mean, they're getting big pushes everywhere. You see the damage taken, 43k, and of course that recovery bar, 34k healed, of course. Trevenant looking real good in that one. And that's another thing. If I'm one of these teams and I gotta ban something, I'm looking at a game that that Emokia just had, and I'm saying, like, maybe the tree isn't where we want to put this team on.
Yeah, and I think they managed to use the tree to extremely good use. And NSV, they just didn't really have the answer to the tankiness of that. I mean, looking at the Zapdos fight, right? Fat just goes in as a slow roll, baits them out a little bit. They see that this slow roll is a bit far forward, and they kind of converge on him. But that's kind of like not the right decision, right? Because the team is right there behind him, and they're ready to engage. It was such a great bait move, and I think that was really good for them.
The Trevenant Unite into the Blastoise Unite literally folded the other team like laundry in a heartbeat. It was there, and then all of a sudden all three orange pips were shaded on the right hand side of your screen, and it was just over. NSV was just as shocked as we were, as they were all deleted from the map. What a tandem, what communication, like I was talking about.
Right.
What communication by Kimochi to execute that flawlessly. What a show. What an engage by Fats too. Like you said, that was a little bait and switch. Like, I'm gonna go in, I'll surf first, what's going on over here, and then whoosh, the whole team disappeared.
Yeah, and I agree with what you say, right? Like the Unite moves coming in, the Trevenant, reducing the damage, increasing the damage that the opponents take, and then the Blastoise coming in with that huge Unite move, catching so many of the Pokemons on the side as NSV kind of just converges in and gets baited into this big Hydro Typhoon move, and they are just able to, get them with the crowd control and just bring them all down so quickly with the Trevenant Unite move. So I think that was really a very good showcase of how, like, this team composition is kind of interesting to see, and also how to make use of it extremely well in such a team fight such as that.
I'll tell you what, Kimochi looked like they were all on pocket picks right there. I mean, they looked good, and they looked like they had a very deep understanding of how their Pokemon moved, and of course how they played together as well. Just a command. You know what? They had the lead in at the start of the game, and they kind of gave it back to NSV in that top path push that happened around Rotom. They found their footing though, and they executed that final team fight flawlessly. Game 1 win to them. What a show. Can't wait to see how NSV adjusts though, because they had a lot of shining moments in that game. Just needed to convert and maybe have a bit stronger understanding what the other team was going to try and do in that Zapdos pit.
Yep, I agree. NSV, they have a lot of experience with other MOBAs. We've seen it, we've said it before, right? They have experience in Dota, and I think that translated really well in terms of, when to engage in that team fight. Like you said, they did manage to kind of come back, in the later half of the game, and that was an extremely good decision on their part. They had a lot of good knowledge in terms of the macro play, on who to go for and what to actually be doing at certain points in time. So I think with that and this loss, they will be able to kind of like recuperate from it, kind of think a little bit about what Kimochi has been doing, and with the bans, find something find the right bands that they need to actually come back into like the second game, so that we can see a game 3.
Yeah, and that's ultimately what we want. We want more games, and we want good close ones as well. NSV, if you're in the shoes of NSV, you just kind of went down this everybody's playing lots of tanks type strategy. Is it kind of how the picks shook out? What's the switch up that you might be considering if you're NSV in terms of maybe a ban, or even, a Pokemon you're hoping to pick?
Well, I think if they want to stick to the current team composition, they need to get rid of the very tanky Pokemons on the side of Kimochi. They just couldn't deal with like the Slowbro, the Trevenant, and the Blastoise. 3 very tanky Pokemons on their side that they weren't able to kind of bring down. So if they want to keep the team composition, if the team composition that they brought into is what they're comfortable with, I would say ban 2 of these 3 Pokemons. But at the same time, if not, they need to find something that's able to bust it down. So I think the Sylveon pick would have been really good, but of course it was kind of bent there as well. So find more burst Pokemon that are able to bring down the very tanky Pokemon before they do too much sustained damage onto your own side.
Last question for this particular thing that I'm thinking of. Are we going to see a Decidueye at all tonight? I want to see a Decidueye. Is that even like on the radar?
I feel like the Decidueye has kind of scaled off a little bit with the recent patches, especially because Buddy Barrier doesn't heal you as much, right? And that Pokemon kind of have a little bit of troubles in terms of mobility, right? Now the meta still kind of focuses a lot on Pokemon that has the ability to kind of reposition the opponents or kind of have enough mobility such that they are able to escape, and this Decidueye isn't one of these Pokemon that are able to do so. However, we do have 4 bans in the Lion City League, and maybe that would kind of allow us to see like this Decidueye come back again.
Please. I want to see a Slowbro Surf, big knockup, and then just Spirit Shackles getting roped in, finding some KOs. I mean, look, if you're comfortable enough to bring a Cramorant to the party, the other bird's got to get some action too, right? You can get that Foros camo. You can sit back and weave in some arrows, right? That's got to be on the docket somewhere.
Yeah, I definitely think so, right? Well, maybe Kimochi is out there listening to us, and they know that this is the second game. They can kind of lose this first, and then afterwards come back win the third game. So maybe in the second game we might be able to see a Decidueye. I'm not entirely sure, but if any of the players are kind of listening to us right now, give this guy a Decidueye play, please.
Please. In all seriousness, though, I loved seeing the Blissey and Hoopa bans. That was great and refreshing. No hyperspace holes. People actually have to rotate with a little bit more intention, a little bit more forethought, which is nice, of course. And it's nice to see that people's rotation skills haven't gotten rusty with the Hoopa cheat code that they've been provided these last, couple months.
Yeah, definitely so, right? And I think this is the beauty of having bans, right? And it does seem that, the support players are being hit so much. It's the Blissey ban, it's the Hoopa ban. Where are the bans on the other Pokemons? Because these are the players that, they only have that many Pokemon to play from, and you're making it even smaller. But I think we all recognize that, these support players just turn the fight every single game, and this is why they are being banned at this point. But really nice seeing Eldegoss back in the game just now again, especially with that Holoware hat. That was great. We love to see it, and I think in the next game we can probably expect a similar ban, right, from that side. I think the Blissey might be banned again, Hoopa as well, and I think the other 2 is kind of still up in the air, but we will see what they actually choose to ban.
If you're asking me, I'm going to assume you're asking me. If you're asking me what bans Kirk would like to see, Old Snacks would like to see, Hoopa, gone. Blissey, gone. Blastoise, gone. Trevenant, I got some good action last time, but right now, you're gone. Get out of here. Let's mix it up. Let's get some of these squishy Pokemon that are just in there, here to kick fireballs in each other's faces, giant water shurikens, Spirit Shackles, bring them all to the party, and let's see who the best starters of the Pokemon series actually are, right? Let's just let them go at it. That's what I say. There's my 2 cents. Throw it out there.
That would definitely be a lot more fun. We've seen all this meta picks being picked time and time again, and I think we definitely need to see the Decidueye, maybe a Garchomp as well. Okay, I can't believe I'm saying this myself, but the Garchomp has been forgotten for Season 1 all the way to now. Let's give it a little bit more love here. I do know that Devastation does like to play the Garchomp, just that sometimes maybe not in a competition setting, but who knows, right? Who knows? Give us a show, and we'll do our best to cast it.
Yeah, Devastation, get on that Garchomp. Who's gonna help raise Garchomp to the top if no one's willing to do it? You know what I mean? Like, it can't get to number 1 if nobody's willing to take it there. Here we go. Kimochi, NSV. We're jumping into game 2. This is our second match of the night, and fingers crossed, we want Blissey, Hoopa, Blastoise, Trevenant. We want all those gone. And by we, I definitely mean just me. Let's see where it shakes out.
Oh,
yes!
It does seem. Oh yes! Oh my goodness!
Let's go! They're listening
exactly
out there.
Blastoise, Trevenant, Blissey, Hoopa, all banned. So that leaves a lot of other Pokemon to be selected. We will see what NSB and Kimochi decides to go for. But you know, Dupsnack and I, we are also excited for these bans already.
Let's go. Let's go. Get those Pokemon out of here. Let's see. Fat's back on Slowbro. Love to see it. Great engage. Subspecies Venusaur. We've got Omen on Sylveon. Devastation. Where are we going? Venusaur. No, bouncing back and forth. Crow, not even selecting a character.
Oh, what is happening? Oh, will we be seeing a Wigglytuff? We haven't really seen that a lot in the recent patch. Oh no, we are going to see the Slowbro. That's still very nice to see. And we have also a Gardevoir that we haven't really seen yet so far.
These fairy types going to be squaring off. Sylveon on one side, Gardevoir on the other. And I don't know. I don't want to pat my back too hard here, but a little bit of future sight by old Snacks on what those bands are going to be, eh?
Yeah, and I think I'm really liking the team composition that NSB is bringing into this competition. I think it's really strong. It's a bit late game, so they need to make sure that they get the first Dreadnought so that they can scale up. But other than that, I think it's a very strong team composition for their side.
Oh, I agree, and I love it. One thing I didn't take good note of is with the Blissey ban. I didn't see how many full heals were coming out on Kimochi's side, so this Gardevoir might really, really go hard here with its Unite move and its abilities, its cooldowns.
Yep, I think this is where the Elder Goss needs to shine, right? He is like the sole supporter that can heal on the side of Kimochi, and that's going to be so important. They've managed to find one knockout already, and that's really good for them to scale into the later game. And I think, they are doing really well. Kimochi as well. We've talked about NSV, right? The team composition on their side is very late game scaling and it's very strong. I'm very excited to see what they have for us in the later half of this game. But Kimochi's team composition actually pretty good themselves as well. They have taken up the Sylveon, which we have said to scale very early in the game and has a lot of lane presence, right? And is able to bring down the very tanky Pokemon on the side of NSV. So it's a great counter to the Slowbro as well as the Venusaur. And I say that, and the Bulbasaur at this point gets knocked out from this match already.
I mean, Omen and Fats were all over. There was nothing about the bees there. That was a Hyper Voice straight into the Bulbasaur's face with Fats closing out on his Surf here. Great work in tandem to get that KO. Fats pulling back through on Ama. They're pushing through, and Omen's going to use a Hyper Voice. They're chasing Ama down. They're forcing out the eject button. A great little look there, and that's a good expenditure for them for a future team fight here. Good look by Kimochi. Working very well in tandem is Omen and Fats.
Yeah, this is definitely a team that has been playing together since Season 1, and it shows. It shows so strongly. They are dominating in the lane so far, putting so much pressure in the bottom lane, able to push towards the side of NSV, steal some of their Arduinos, and they are looking extremely strong in the bottom lane. And I think, this Sylveon is doing what it needs to do in this early game. It does scale down, especially into the late game, but this is where it shines in this time, and Kimochi, they know this.
Yeah, they know it, and they're flexing it right now. Poggy, we need you level 9. You need to get there, find it away somehow. Turn around, get that Corphish, do something. Because a Unite move here at this Dreadnought is going to be absolutely massive and help bring NSV up over the top here. A good little engage by Subspecies and Omen. Again, working in tandem. Omen must be just calling the shots down here and picking the targets out. Fat's working through, going to try and chip in with a Surf, close this thing out. They get a couple of those, as Subspecies does as well. They're moving forward. Omen gets chunked too. They're moving forward. Ivysaur takes out Curlia, though. That's huge. Talking about not getting level 9. That's just an absolute cork into that bottle. Holy smokes. As they're getting more experience here on Kimochi's side, and they're going to be ready for Dreadnought to see who rotates there first.
Yeah, both teams won't have the Unite move since their levels have not reached there yet, but Kimochi, they are taking the Dreadnought early, knowing that NSV, they need some time to kind of regroup and get the 5 members there. But Curlia comes in, he gets the Dreadnought, and now they are turning the fight against Kimochi.
Yeah, I mean, that's an evolution. If they can use their Unite move here to slow them down, they do. Holy smokes, you wanted NSV's KOs. They're reining them in. A good little snipe shot by Poggy. Going to be able to unleash that Unite move and wipe almost the entire Kimochi team. And now they're getting tons of points in. Talk about bringing parity out of nowhere. Let's go. What a look by Poggy. And that's that Unite move I was talking about, RT.
Yeah, Kimochi, they don't really have an answer to the Gardevoir's Unite move because Blissey has been banned, so they need to be very careful in terms of where they position themselves. They don't want to be clumped up together, and they want to be able to bring this Gardevoir down. It's a very squishy Pokemon, doesn't have a lot of mobility, so they just need to bring it down, and I think Fat will be the one to be able to lock this Pokemon down before any fights happen, and that will be the angle that Kimochi wants to take.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely the pressure on their back to make sure that they keep this Gardevoir in check, but they're working through, they're playing for a big Unite move by Devastation. They're coming through, they get the KO on the Lucario. They're coming back the other way to get the Venusaur as well. Subspecies is going to go down. We see a little action kicking through. They do get taken out. The Venusaur's looking real crisp for NSV here as they keep pushing. Omen and Fallen back on the chopping block here. They roll back through their goal zone, and they finally stem the tide, force NSV back the other way.
Yeah, this is kind of exactly what they need, right? They are kind of losing in terms of the levels right there, so they needed to find all of these knockouts and try and delay this as much as possible. I think both teams, they are kind of positioned around this Rotom. I'm sure that with the Unite moves that they still have, they want to find value with this Rotom, get in some points and get in some EXP. It's now 1-1-3 to 0. Kimochi, they want this.
They want this. They need this. Let's go. Get that thing in. Get some good overdunks here. Do your quick math. Have somebody with 40 in pocket, roll up and get that taken care of. Bang. There's the Venusaur. Let's get that done. Big overdunk there. Ooh. And look at that. Perfect numbers. You'll love the symmetry. 113 and 113. Poggy's already working through, and we know what that means. Look at it falling coming through the hero plate. No, not today. Telekinesis locks down Fallen, and you just get chewed up. That is easy business for a big old fox to eat a cotton ball. No problem. NSV looked real good in that exchange.
Yep, I think, in the fight just now at the Rotom, Kimochi finds value from getting some dunks in. It's a perfect 1-1-3 to 1-1-3. But NSV, well, they were just letting it go in. They positioned themselves for the Dreadnought, and this is the beauty of not having, that Hooper to bring you down, right? You need to be very aware of the timings. You need to be very aware of where you should be, and that Unite move coming in from Poggy is so big.
How? I thought they were going to be able to convert more. Amaf just pushed back, and unfortunately the Gardevoir mowed down. I thought that was going to be a huge conversion there, but there's not enough support. Finally, the A9 rolls through. They get a KO on the Slowbro. They're going to try and follow it up. Devastation coming through as the Venusaur. Can they close it up? That Gardevoir Unite hits so many targets. There you go. That's a Unite back the other way, but Subspecies. Here comes Subspecies. Here comes Subspecies. Using Unite move, chasing down Amaf. They're going to KO there. Holy smokes. Subspecies puts Kimochi on their back and works right through that squad.
That was, I would say that Gardevoir Unite was really nice, but unfortunately, like you said, there wasn't any follow-up coming in. The Ninetales, the damage dealers weren't there, and they weren't able to capitalize on that great Unite move right there. And Kimochi, they find an angle to come back in with their own Unite moves, find the knockouts that they need. They come back into this game once again.
Oh, what a look. They were down so far on levels. Subspecies, put on a cape, you absolute mutant, you hero, you. Doing great work for Kimochi and really keeping them in this one.
Yeah, both teams edge to edge right now, I would say. 153 to 167. And in terms of the levels, they are quite evenly spread out. But of course, Subspecies has just gotten his level 13, and that means the final power spike for this power plant is going to reach already, and he is going to be so scary with the AoE of Pedodance.
Oh, that is exactly what you want. So they're exchanging their Dreadnought there. They're going to reset and put the pressure on. They might be able to get some good points in here. Let's see if this Rotom hits or not. NSV not allowed. They're not going to let that happen for free. We got 15 seconds till Zapdos, so we're going to see how NSV plays this. Kimochi already back and posturing around the pit.
Yeah, both teams have the levels that they want. Poggy is level 13. K for Ken is also level 13. Venusaur, Devastation is also 13. So, both sides, they are ready for the Zapdos fight. And Kimochi, they have the advantage in terms of positioning here. NSV, they need to find the right angle in here. They don't want to be baited out by Fats again.
Definitely don't want that. Oh, a good Gardevoir chunk though. Half HP gone. That's huge. Fats can't really engage as clean now as they want. And look at NSV. They're showing hey, we're here. We're not in the grass. We're not hiding like you. We want the action, dog. Let's get after it. As Kimochi's trying to push forward. Big surf's coming through, but nobody's really catching each other here. As they're still just posturing around. Nobody goes down. A good little skirmish, but nothing happens yet. Here comes Gardevoir pushing forward, pushing forward, pushing forward. We're just taking wild Pokemon now. Unite move by Venusaur. It gets chewed up. It gets chewed up, and we're moving forward here. So the Venusaur for NSV can't get their Unite move off, and that forces all of NSV to scramble. Fallen trying to hold it down for the squad, but Kimochi has immediately flipped the script here, and they started working on Zapdos. They're pulling in NSV. The big Unite move catches 3 from NSV. Are you kidding me? Here we go. They're all over Zapdos. KO streak of 3 for the Gardevoir. We just watched it. Nasty business. They're going to get this Zapdos, and here we go. They're time to rein in those ducats, and of course they ace the squad because that's what it's all about. We said the Gardevoir, it was the Gardevoir, and now it's Hundo Burger times on the menu.
Patience is a virtue here, and they definitely show that patience will win them this game. They couldn't find a right angle into the game. Instead, they let Kimochi engage on them first. Their positioning was initially quite good, right? They were split across the entire pit, and NSV couldn't use the Unite move well enough to catch them. But once they tried to engage onto the side of NSV, it is now Kimochi who is baited by them, and the Gardevoir lands a huge Unite move onto 3 Pokemon on the side of Kimochi, knocks the 3 of them out, and just zones the Lucario out entirely. And now NSV, they win the second game by a very strong performance in the Zapdos pit, and we will be getting a game 3.
Game 3 is what it's all about now. What a little team fight. What a Gardevoir Unite. NSV looked real good there.
Yep, I think, they banned out the Pokemon that Kimochi was so confident in using, and because of that, they are able to come back with, Pokemon that they are comfortable with themselves. And now it is Kimochi who needs to kind of decide what are the specific bans that we need to bring in for game 3 such that we will be the winners of this game. A very close match all the way until Zapdos fight. It really just came down to how they engaged on it, and I think with this Gardevoir, NSV, they knew that they needed to make the fight happen and allow this Gardevoir to do what it needed to do. 86,000 damage on the side of this Gardevoir. Just amazing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure 50k of that came in the last 2 minutes of the game. But I'm thinking back to that subspecies hero play and how they literally drug the whole squad back into the match, and to have it kind of fall apart there in their hands and them just get eaten alive by Poggy can't feel good if you're Kimochi. And if you go back into the Gardevoir, wow, you better change your battle item, into some full heals, because that looked gross.
Yep, I think, Kimochi really did have a very good engagement there with Fats, but this time they were the ones that got baited. Devastation goes down first, but there is still another powerhouse on the team, and that's Gardevoir, and Gardevoir just manages to kind of catch them all off guard, and because of that, they win the second game. So now I think Kimochi may be coming in with the Gardevoir ban. They really couldn't deal with this Gardevoir at all, and yeah, so maybe that's kind of what we will see in the next game.
Listen, RT, they already gave me the bans I wanted. They're listening out there. They heard me. They said, all right, let's give Snacks what he's looking for here. Let's make sure we can calm him down a bit. All right, so let's get back to the competitive bans. Let's see what happens. Gardevoir looked great. And I'm not saying you need to ban Gardevoir. I'm just saying if you don't ban Gardevoir, you better have a plan against Gardevoir. Because they went in, like you said, no Blissey, no safeguard to carry them through. And of course, we saw a lot of eject buttons, but not a lot of full heals, as that Unite move just absolutely crumpled the squad. So Kimochi's got some problems to solve. They've got some questions in front of them. I wonder how they're going to drum up the answers.
Now, if they choose not to ban this Gardevoir, they need to be very careful about how they engage in the team fight. They took it really well at the start, right? They were all split up, and they couldn't get the Gardevoir in to use the Unite move because of that. And I think that was great. That was done great. But afterwards, if they clump up together, it's going to be disastrous. And that's not what they want. But at the same time, I think as well, in that fight, they probably were looking out for Poggy already. But they just couldn't find an angle inwards to get this Gardevoir as well. So they need something to actually take out the back lines if they want to kind of allow this Gardevoir in. But if they don't have an answer to that, then I think, yeah, a ban makes a lot of sense. But if you were to ban the Gardevoir, it means that you're either letting Blissey in or you're letting the Hoopa in. And that changes the game a lot.
Yeah, dramatically, right? I mean, if you ban Gardevoir, you've essentially unlocked Blissey, which is the whole reason Gardevoir was good to begin with. So that's kind of a weird song and dance. I'm not sure you need to ban Gardevoir. I'm just thinking maybe, you know, have some picks that are good across the board, but also like singularly good against Gardevoir as well, right? Either you're changing the items or you have, you know, something that can easily get to the back line without sacrifice, you know. So, you know, then I'm thinking of things like a Talonflame that can literally dive into the back line and just bypass kind of all the junk happening in front, right? Bypass the Slowbro surfs, all of that stuff. But then you got to start thinking, how do you support that? Is that with an Eldegoss? You know what I mean? So I don't think you ban the Gardevoir. I think you kind of keep the Hoopa and the Blissey kind of under lock and key. But I would start making picks that say, okay, let's make that Gardevoir just less potent if they do go back into the well with that pick.
Yeah, because I do think that Kimochi, they played really well in the entirety of the previous game as well, right? They kind of made sure that they were playing opposite of where NSV was. They did the rotations and they didn't take the fights that they couldn't win until the Zapdos fight. So I think they are pretty confident with the team composition that they have played in the second game. So yeah, it really depends on like how you kind of engage onto the team comp. Because I do know that like they definitely know the Gardevoir as well as like the Venusaur were the targets, and they managed to get one out, but then they couldn't get the second one, and that was where it kind of went downhill. So yep, I totally agree with you. They need to kind of find an answer to this Gardevoir, either a ban or just, you know, just the way that they engage, or Pokemon change that they're confident with. But yeah, this is going to be a very high stakes battle because this is the third and final game. Whoever wins this will win their win against the other team and put themselves in a good position for day 2.
Exactly. And that's what they're playing for here. They're playing for that tier here in day 2, which of course is Elite, Master, and Challenger. Great prizes for whichever one you land in. Championship points on the line for whichever one you land in. But of course, if you're in that Elite level, there's just a little bit more dollars on the line. And of course, Master has a little bit more dollars on the line than Challenger. So you really want to be playing for as much money as possible. Of course, who doesn't love money? So there is a lot on the line here for these teams, especially in this third qualifier. They got to get through it first. They got to get through it first. I'm like racking my brain. I don't even want to. And Lightning's not going to strike twice. RT. I'm not going to guess these bans correctly again. So I quit while I'm ahead is an understatement.
Well, I think, you know, with the second win, NSV is definitely going to keep the same bans. So it really is up to Kimochi and what they decide to do. I feel like they are probably still going to ban the Hoopa for sure. It's whether or not they want to allow the Blissey in, or whether or not they kind of want the Gardevoir in as well. I do feel that they will still go for the Blissey and Hoopa ban because of just how much utility they have brought to the game so far and the current meta as well. So I think those will be the bans again, and it really comes down to how they kind of engage onto this Gardevoir.
Yeah, they have to engage in a very intelligent fashion, and all the credit in the world to NSV and Devastation, because they were the sacrificial lamb for that team, and there's no way around it. They pretty much just said, all right, we need you to go in as hard as you can and disrupt as much as you can. And it really did kind of send Kimochi into shambles a little bit. You know, as you said, it was kind of like a very strong counter bait. They actually got baited into the Venusaur because they thought that was going to be the trigger for a huge engagement. All of NSV peeled back. Yes, Devastation went down, but what did it do? It made Kimochi think that they could flip onto the Zapdos. They grouped together, and then they just got just absolutely gulped up by that Gardevoir Unite. So you have to tip the cap to Devastation, because it's never a great position to be in when the whole team's like, okay, now what we need you to do is just run in and immediately get sent back to spawn point. Like, you're going to have no chance here, and we're not going to go in and help you. And just be like, okay, I'll do my best. Like, I'll try and take one with me. And, like, no chance at all. So tip of the cap to Devastation, because it's never easy to have your card pulled in that way, for sure.
Yep, completely intentional play from the side of NSV for sure. And I think, you know, the first game it was Feds that kind of baited out NSV side, and then the second game it was NSV who kind of baited out Kimochi's side. So who knows what's going to happen in the third game? And I think the stakes are high, and both teams, they want to be doing their best. So they're taking a little bit more time to kind of make sure that they have thought things very thoroughly, choose the right bands and choose the right Pokemon that they want to go in. But we will be going to the game shortly as soon as we can. But before that, you know, we're just gonna hang around a little bit and just, you know, keep you guys entertained for a while.
Well, we're certainly gonna try, RT. At least I will, anyways. You've already got it on lockdown. I'm the clown from across the water that needs to sort this thing out. It is 12:21 a.m. here. We're burning the midnight oil, but we're feeling good in the snack shack where I'm currently sitting and residing and casting from. RT, let me ask you this. This is completely off the script, by the way. This is off the reservation of a question. What Pokemon do you want to see? I know I've asked you this before. What Pokemon do you want to see in Pokemon Unite for all the people listening out here? What's the character you'd like to see added to the
I would bring my stuffed Swablu in, but it's currently not in my room. But yes, I want to see the Swablu and the Altera. I think it's just a very nice, you know, cute Pokemon that has a lot of tankiness to it in the mainstream games. Very good typing as well. If they ever decide to bring in Mega Evolution as well, a type change as well as maybe a move change would be quite interesting to see after this. But you know what? Thanks for the question. We are kind of going back into the third game of Kimochi versus NSV. It seems like the bands are the same as we have said before, so for the side of Kimochi, they need to find a way to engage onto this Gardevoir, and that would be kind of like what they want to do.
Yeah, looks like subspecies is going to be the requirement for that with that full heal here. And maybe just like a deep engage with the eject button on Fallen as well, question mark. KC as well with the eject button. Well, you know, when you go into Machamp and you kind of activate that Unite move, that's a good way to cruise through the back line here. So that's definitely a way to. So Kimochi has thought it through. They're not concerned about the Gardevoir. They've got a little strategy here. As we're taking a look, and that's Sylveon. Is it going to get locked in by Ama in the last second? It is. Here we go. We've got another little switch up here, RT, and it's looking pretty good.
Yep, I think for the side of NSV, they probably realized that they were losing the early game too much. And I think for the third game, they don't want to risk it at all. So they're going to answer with their own Sylveon on their own side. And I think it's a really good pick, right? And like you said, the item sets as well as the Pokemon picks on Kimochi is really good against Gardevoir as well. They have a lot of Pokemon that has Unstoppable. I mean, Emokia on the Machamp will definitely have it. They have the full heal on the Venusaur and Pikachu. If they go for the Volt Tackle, I kind of got confused with Zeraora there. They have a way to kind of get out of the Unite move. They just have to be very careful, and their reactions have to be extremely fast.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to, the reaction time that they have as well. What I love the laning duo of Pikachu and Machop. I think those two work very well together in tandem and have good, very strong laning phases. And look at this, like as I say that, they just absolutely detonate that Lucario. You are the weakest link, goodbye. As Emokia and Fallen are starting to pick up a little steam, as that's still an Eevee right there finally ticks over. So they're gonna have to be a little careful as they're both sitting on level 3, and that Machop really wants to be a Machoke ASAP.
And he does get his level 4, and the Ivysaur does manage to rotate up already, but Ama is level 4 and he's a little bit scary, right? So Kimochi, they have to play a bit carefully at the top lane. They don't want to give too much EXP to this Sylveon with the Hyper Voice this early into the game.
God, I mean, that Hyper Voice just melts those bees so much. Does it? Curly or Poggy getting eyed down? Can they close it out? Oh, rushing in. Good little slash by the Machop there. Are they going to get another one? Subspecies working through Ama. Ama's caught. Ama's caught. Ama goes down. What a play by Kimochi here. Despite being behind on levels, just tactful play between the three of them, get 2 big KOs. You love to see it. They might have overstayed their welcome. They get caught, Fallen, work through subspecies and tandem. Let's go! The Machoke gets it done! Let's go, Kimochi! Let's go!
I think that Meteor Mesh miss was just too unfortunate for the side of NSV. They could have gotten maybe a knockout, and that would kind of bring them back into the game a little bit, but Kimochi, they find their angle onto this Lucario once again, and with that, you know, Kimochi has once again gotten the lead in the early game, and I think this is exactly what they want to be doing, right? They want to make sure that this Gardevoir doesn't come online as fast as it could, and they just don't want to deal with the Unite move at all.
Yeah, Poggy being level 6.5 here definitely shades behind where it was last time, where it was level 8, scrambling around to try and tick over for that Unite move. The Ivysaur rolling down here. We're going to see what they do as Fats and Omen work together. We know they work together into Poggy just getting mowed down again. Omen playing forward subspeed. Big Surf catching a few. Sylveon closes out on the other Sylveon here after the back of the Big Surf. Crow really flexing that ability as they're moving through subspecies, gets caught, clipped up, and Ama's playing forward as they're mowing them down too. And now Ama is forced to retreat, but NSV with a quality little exchange there.
Yep, and the levels are extremely even on both sides. I mean, looking at the points as well, 0 to 4, 3 minutes into this game, the Dreadnought has really spawned. But once again, I think they won't be starting on this so soon. They want to get some key levels onto the side, or make sure that, you know, they manage to get a knockout first before going in. And it seems like NSV are the ones going in. They are taking the fight really well.
Just getting crushed out here. NSV, Big Surf, Crow chipping everyone up. Curly are getting a KO on the Slowbro here, and NSV is all around. They're low on HP, so Kimochi can make a counter push since this Dreadnought is still at very healthy HP. Emokia trying to pick out their target. They're trying to find Devastation. They do! They jump over the rock and absolutely deliver an uppercut here as they're pushing through, and Kimochi takes that off the back of the Sylveon. Now Pikachu's getting a KO back the other way. Crow's getting caught by the Unite move Machamp, and now K for Ken is getting mowed down by the Sylveon and Machamp tandem, and there's a reason Machamp wears the championship belt, because they're #1. Strap them up with it, and now they got the Miner's helmet because there ain't nobody hiding from them tonight.
That was, once again, a very nice engage from the side of Kimochi. They waited for NSV to clump up together, and he goes in with the dynamic punch, catches so many of them, and brings them all down, gets the Dreadnought, and pushes in a little bit more. They don't break the tier 1 go zone, and this is quite advantageous to their side as well, right? Because NSV, they need the EXP to come back into this game, but with the tier 1, they don't get access to the additional Ordinos at the bottom lane, and so it's going to be even harder for them to actually get the EXP that they need. They need to find the knockouts, but then the levels are not there yet. They need to make sure that they have more unites, find a straggler on the side of Kimochi, and that's where NSV wants to be.
That's exactly where Kimochi wants to be, is right here, as their Emoki is leading the charge with the squad. That's a Unite move by subspecies. Let's see if they can convert on it. K for Ken, what are you doing there? Good night, goodbye. You shouldn't have pressed that far forward, as those pedal dances are just going right around each other like a sophomore dance in high school, boys and girls not wanting to reach across the gym and have a dance. Here we go. Ama goes down to the Machamp. Slowbro bites the dust in the receipt here, but that's going to be a lot of points going there. They're going to overcap just by 10, it looks like. Nope, they're going to sandbag it a little bit, but they're going to go just get that overcap of 10 here.
Yeah, I think it's still a good idea to kind of break it first, you know, so that for the rest of the rotoms that come up later, Kimochi, they will have the advantage in terms of having a tier 1 go zone there, and you putting a lot more pressure in the top lane as well, with the rotom going inwards towards the tier 2. And now everyone is kind of gathering at the bottom lane once again for the second Dreadnought. This is incredibly important for NSV, right? They are lacking in terms of the levels, and they really, really want this.
Yeah, they can't clump up as Poggy's looking to go. The Unite move gets the Slowbro, but that's just the Slowbro. Venusaur pushing forward here, and that's a Unite move by the Machamp. Catches the Venusaur, catches a couple here as they're moving forward through. That's exactly the anchor you want, is that Machamp, as the Sylveon gets a KO back on the Slowbro, and now Kimochi is all over them. The Sylveon goes down, and it's just K for Ken left. Nobody else is there, and they can melt this Dreadnought, turn it into straight turtle soup, as Kimochi looking really good here off the back of that awesome Machamp Unite move.
Yeah, and I think we've seen this Machamp doing so much just now in the first Dreadnought fight, and now again in the second Dreadnought fight. It was a nice catch onto the Slowbro. They realized the Slowbro was a bad... Wow, the fight still continues!
This Unite move by subspecies, they had no HP left. They blow it up in NSV's face. Here comes the Machamp, and they close it out. I mean, they'll gladly give up 1 KO for 2. Just don't go down. Don't sway it back the other way. But that was just such a great Unite move, and converted on so strongly by Kimochi. That looked amazing.
Yeah, and you know, one thing I want to point out, right, is that both sides, they have Pokemon that counter each other. The Sylveon counters the very tanky Pokemon, the Venusaur, as well as the Slowbro on both sides. But at the same time, there's the Machamp that answers to the Sylveon, there's the Lucario that answers to the Sylveon, and really, you know, the fights, it's all about picking the right target. The Sylveon wants to go for the tanky ones, and then the Machamp wants to go onto the Sylveon. So it's there are many layers in the team fights that needs to, if they want to make something happen, and this goes for both teams, right? And Kimochi, they seem to be the ones who are kind of able to capitalize on this at this moment, so they are kind of in the advantage. They are dragging this Rotom out a little bit, trying to make sure that it kind of goes in maybe nearer to the Zapdos fight. But okay, I guess a little bit of pressure from NSV will mean that Kimochi kind of just takes it and gets themselves a good positioning into the Zapdos pit first.
Yeah, that's exactly where I want to be, as NSV is forced to take care of this Rotom so they can't get those free double buckets, straight ducats once that 2-minute mark hits. And they're melting through this Rotom pretty quickly here, but NSV needs a quick reset as Kimochi is just waiting in the grass for them.
Yeah, we see that, you know, Kimochi is quite split up across the entirety of the map, trying to protect, you know, the tier 1 Go Zone, and at the same time, I think patiently, once again, waiting for a good angle for this Machamp to come in, right? The Unite move seen just now do so much for their side, and I think that is the kind of angle that they're trying to go for. They want to make sure that NSV, they're all kind of clumped up together, lined up and ready for this Machamp to unite, and that's where they want to catch them in. Ooh.
Oh, this might be it. Big Unite right now. Let's go! Oh, they went right through the pod. Poggy goes down. That's huge. Emokia is going to put the pressure on, swing it back on his subspecies. Subspecies can't keep up right now. Or, excuse me, that's Crow. Subspecies on the backside using Unite move the other way. Subspecies trying to hold it down. Lucario's just hanging out. And Kimochi is completely flipped onto the Zapdos as they got those huge KOs. But here comes Lucario. They're trying to make a hero play. Can they keep Ama out for making the hero play? Can they keep Devastation out for making the hero play? Kimochi takes it. Let's go. They mow down the rest of them that were standing. Kimochi, and it's all on the back of Emokia. What a play. What an absolute play. Let's go. Ducket time. Hundo Burgers rein it in. Kimochi looking great down here, and their energy level has to be through the roof like mine, because that was a hell of a play.
That was incredibly well positioned. I think, wow, Kimochi just did so well in that team fight, right? They find the right angles to kind of go in with the Machamp, dynamic punches 3, and then the Unite move as well, catching the Gardevoir first. That was exactly what we said we wanted to see, and that's what we kind of got as well. Emokia with the MVP on the Machamp, just doing so much for his team.
Oh, so much for the team. I think they were the team. A little thing I like to say is, what was their held item in that game? A backpack? Holy smokes. Straight carry out here for Emokia. Looking great. And that dynamic punch, clipping 3, including Poggy. That was the recipe for success. And an absolute dumpstering good look by Kimochi. God, that is everything I wanted out of the Machamp play. And it came to life in that game 3. Hats off to Emokia. You've earned my respect, and you've made yourself a fan tonight.
Indeed, Emokia has been known to be using this Machamp since, I think, past few Friday Night Unites, as well as the Lion City League. So he's definitely very well versed in terms of, you know, the different strategies that he should be using on this Machamp, and of course, how to coordinate it with his team members, and it really showed in this game. Their positioning in the Zapdos fight was so good. They up in the middle, but this Machamp was kind of anticipating where NSV was going to come in, and he does manage to get that right. He gets the first call in, catches NSV by surprise, catches Poggy, unfortunately just not showing us the Unite moves that we want to see in this game, and they are just able to find the right angles in from there.
I have nothing else to say. That looked so good. That looked so good. I mean, what would have been the dream? Like, instead of them hitting 3 players with the dynamic punch, they hit 5. Like, oh my god! Like, how much more can you have asked for? But what I like there is the only player, once they were positioned for Kimochi, that never moved from their spot was Emokia, and it was clear that they were trying to show strength in the bottleneck and on the bottom side, which would have naturally filtered NSV through the top, and that's exactly where NSV went, and it really opened up that play. So yes, Emokia delivered, right? They hit all the buttons when they needed to, and they were in the right place, but it's the rest of the team that doing the little popping out of the grass, hiding, chipping in, sending their moves in certain directions that really forced NSV into what the trap was, which was Emoki eliding in weight. Looked great. Looked amazing.
Yeah, first game, Kimochi baits out NSV. Second game, NSV baits out them. Third game, it's Kimochi that baits NSV out again. And with that, they win the game against NSV. And now, we are gonna go for a short break first, but the next game that we will be seeing will be between NSV and Pokeballers. So now the group standings for Group B has been updated. Kimochi is standing at the top right now. It is now up to NSV and Pokeballers to see who actually gets into the Masters division in day 2.
I can't wait to watch NSV play again. Can't wait to watch Pokeballers play again. That's just what it is.
Yeah, so this is what we're gonna see in the next game. But before that, we're gonna go for a short break. We will see you guys soon.
Do you need a degree to get that promotion or career switch? Graduate with an honors degree from Birmingham City University in 1 year. Established since 1843, you can choose from a variety of leading business programs. Diploma holders can complete the degree in 1 year. Assignment-based assessment allows you to manage your time better by spreading out your workload. No weekend classes means you don't have to compromise on your social and family life. Find out more today. Do you need a degree to get that promotion or career switch? Graduate with an honors degree from Birmingham City University in 1 year. Established since 1843, you can choose from a variety of leading business programs. Diploma holders can complete the degree in 1 year. Assignment-based assessment allows you to manage your time better by spreading out your workload. No weekend classes means you don't have to compromise on your social and family life. Find out more today.
And welcome back everyone to the Lion City League. We have just finished one of the nicest match so far between NSV and Kimochi. And you know what? We have one more last set of games for you guys. But before that, let's look at the current bracket standings in the group stages. So from Group A, we see a very dominant performance from the side of Renaissance, 2 wins against Pokemon, and of course Hawaii unfortunately had to forfeit out. So Renaissance will be going into the Elite category tomorrow, while Pokemon goes into the Masters category. And as we've seen in the first few matches just now, No Lucario and Elite Four. No Lucario will be going into the Elite category, while Elite Four will be going into the Masters category for tomorrow. And last but not least, the current group that we are spectating, we have just seen Kimochi versus NSV. Kimochi now with 2 wins, and NSV and Pokeballers with 0 wins. So this game that we are going to watch now will be NSV versus Pokeballers, and this will determine who actually goes into the Masters division for tomorrow. Kimochi is definitely going to the Elite division tomorrow, and congratulations to them. They have done extremely well so far. It's nice to see the teams kind of improve and get into like the elite positioning. But right now we are going to go into the gameplays between NSV and Pokeballers.
I'm excited to watch NSV get another bite at the apple here. Don't know much about Pokeballers, but we're going to find out about them here in short order. NSV can't be happy how that best of 3 just shook out against Kimochi. Obviously they had some great opportunities. They used Gardevoir incredibly well, especially in that second game. So I think there's a lot of good lessons learned for NSV there on maybe some tactical Zapdos approaches. And Pokeballers better be ready, because I don't think NSV is gonna give this one up too easy.
Yep, I think we have just came back from the break, and I hope the break was good enough for NSV to kind of recuperate a little bit, think about what they kind of want to bring into this game. And I think, like you said, I'm excited for what they have for us in this last leg of the Lion City League Day 1. And you know what? I was just thinking about Pokeballers, right? You say you don't know that much about them, but Pokeballers is a very casual kind of team, and they have been known to play a lot of different Pokemons as well. So maybe if they have heard you just now, we might be able to see a Decidueye.
Decidueye, crossing my fingers for that, of course. But here we go. Character selection screen. Lucario and Blastoise, Blissey and Hoopa. Good choices. Good choices. That opens up. Oh, Devastation. I'm watching you on the Mamoswine. Let's go. Envy. No. Oh, Envy. Don't play with my heart. Don't play with my heart. Decidueye, please.
Well, I must say that Envy is a pretty good Decidueye player. He has definitely used that a lot in ranked games. So we will see. Of course, this Pokemon is definitely banned right now, and the players are once again trolling us casters. They don't want to show their cards to us until the last 5 seconds, and this might really be a Decidueye. Is it really going to be a Decidueye? Is the question. It is. Doom Snacks, we are going to see a Decidueye.
Let's go. What is happening tonight? They're hearing me. They're listening. They're saying, all right, let's get, it's almost 1 a.m. for him. Let's give old Snacks what he's looking for here. But look at this. We're gonna get a Gengar. We're gonna get an Absol. We're gonna get a Decidueye. We're gonna get an Aegislash. Right. Let's go. Wigglytuff. Come on.
Yes, this is the teams. These are the teams that play a lot of variety of Pokemon, and I'm just so glad we are going to see so many picks coming in the LCL.
It's absolutely amazing. Oh, and we have a central area Decidueye too. You love it. You gotta love it. Envy gonna be stacking them up out here with hopefully the Spirit Shackles. I love watching that move be executed. Can't wait.
Yep, and we definitely know which side Doopsnack is on right now, and he's definitely on the side of Pokeballers. You just pick the DCDI and you have his vote for sure. But okay, looking at the team compositions, I think NSV has a very interesting team composition again, right? They are bringing in, the Gengar and an Absol as well. So Absol scales really fast, and in the early game, unfortunately, just couldn't sustain to the fight against Go Train as well as Kieron. But we have to definitely look out for this episode, being able to close in on the Pokemons like what they are doing now, and they might be able to stop Pokeballers from scaling so quickly into from the early to mid game.
Yeah, great little coverage by Envy there, rolling up as the Dartrix gonna get by some time a little bit for Go Train to get out of there, because they were on the ropes as Poggy has picked up the Absol, and those bees are kind of getting leashed towards NSV. We're gonna see if they can get a majority of them. Good engage by Go Train, forcing NSV back. Crow still a Gossifleur. Hate to see it, but you love to see it if you're Pokeballers, as they're going to push in the face of Crow and Poggy here. Are they going to go down? Poggy, is they going to make it out? The Wigglytuff is staying so sharp. The Aegislash catches the Gossifleur. NSV getting out just by the skin of their teeth here, as Crow is all about that action. Go back in, big Aegislash boosted auto, and there you go. Wigglytuff closing it out on the Age. Oh, but here comes Ken on the Haunter here, and Chaos Shrika 2. They were so low on the side of Pokeballers. They got him for free. Level 7 for the Haunter at the 8-minute mark. Are you kidding me?
Big knockout for the side of for the side of NSV. They kind of lose out a little bit, especially onto the Absol. They do need this Absol to scale much faster and earlier than the other Pokemon, and it seems like he's going to go through a little bit of the central area to get some of his levels back, because he keeps losing at the top lane. And you know what? I think this Haunter is going to be a powerhouse already for the first Dreadnought fight. It's already level 8. It's probably going to get its level 9, and that's going to be extremely scary for Pokeballers first Dreadnought fight.
Great engage, Devastation with the net, diving in as Poggy, and now they're going to be able to get the next one here if they stick on top. Haunter coming in, getting the free KO. It was almost like they leashed them just to give it for free. That goal zone's gone. Go Train pushing forward here. Slowbro getting caught up. Slowbro going down to the Decidueye. It's Decidueye time as it's KO Shrika 2 back the other way. Level 8 Decidueye, and if they can mark down Ken here, they're going to be able to, that Spirit Shackle just goes wide as Ken is forced to back off a little bit. Dreadnought in 6 seconds.
Yeah, Pokeballers have the advantage in terms of the positioning right now, but at the same time, I see a Gengar on the side of NSV, so that means the Unite move has a lot of potential to snipe, and also has a very good potential to catch this Decidueye. Oh!
Catch, it ate it alive. Are you kidding me? Chickens for dinner tonight. That's a big meal for the Gengar as it gets a KO Shrika 2. Pikachu gets one as well, and all of a sudden NSV is all over this Dreadnought, and they're working through. I'm taking a look at the map here. Aegislash rolling up top, doing something else completely. Go Train not interested either, as NSV gets that Dreadnought for free off the back of a great Gengar engage.
Yep, I think NSV, they have came back from the break and they are so refreshed right now. They are playing picks that they are very confident with, and it shows in this game. They have a very dominant lead at this point. They have very good map presence, and they are just making all the right engages at this point.
Oh, that's without a doubt. Pokeballers getting a little consolidation prize here. Consolation prize is the word I'm actually looking for. In the Rotom, it hits the goal zone. No real big overdunk there, but Pokeballers will take what they can get. The score line is pretty close. The levels are less so.
Yep, Pokeballers a little bit behind and on the slow roll as well as the Ninetales, so they need to try and catch up as soon as they can, especially to get the Unite move that they need in order for them to kind of contest better in the second Dreadnought fight. And it seems like both teams are really kind of positioning for the second Dreadnought fight. Ooh!
Aegislash taking the wrong angle there, and NSV just bubbling out, staying on the backside of that. Oh, good surfing though, getting the Eldegoss here as they work through. Is that a Unite move going through as they're pushing through? And that's 3 KOs, 3 players down, excuse me, on NSV. I thought it was a good little snow globe, I think, from the Alolan Ninetales, taking out a bunch. Pikachu uniting right back, gonna get the Decidueye for their efforts here as Sunshine's trying to hold it back. Vin gets KO'd back. Pikachu taking out the Slowbro. Poggy's trying to find their mark. They get some KOs now. Go Train gonna go down. KO Shrika 2 for the Absol, and these teams are just extracting KOs like they're Pokemon cards on the playground.
This Absol was doing so badly at the start, but you know what? It's Poggy on this Absol. He's popping off right now. He's level 11 and he's ready to just go in on any of the Pokemons on the side of Pokeballers. And they have to be very careful, right? The Sudai is very squishy. The Ninetales as well is extremely squishy. And Absol just having, you know, that much ability to crit is going to be very scary for the side of Pokeballers.
They are working through Ama. Mama goes down. Alolan Ninetales gets credit for that one. They're moving forward. Decidueye's coming through. Great Spirit Checkles there. We see a little Unite by the Wigglytuff coming through, trying to pick up the squad. Let's see if they can get a KO on the Gengar. They need it. They get it. Let's go. And now they can flip on Dreadnoughts. Just Crow left, putting the pressure on. I think maybe the Pikachu. As the Slowbros rolling through. That's a little action by the Pikachu as they're all over Go Train, who goes for the engage. Can they steal it? No. Aegislash takes it. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck, NSV, as we're sealing this one up and get the KOs as well. Aegislash taken out. Oh, big surf again. Poggy going down. I don't even know why you went to engage there, kiddo. You are way too soft for this as Go Train plays forward, puts Ama to sleep. And Pokeballers are looking to retreat here maybe and just settle this thing out. But oh, Ken is seeing Sunshine and they don't want to let them off the leash as Crow and Ama are chasing it down. And are they going to get them? Yes, you might as well just give up at that point. There's 3 players collapsing. But a good little show by Pokeballers in that bottom path.
Yeah, and wow, amazing that, you know, they are NSV with this cross-map plays. They are getting all these knockouts with the Gengar as well as the app. So it's kind of like a very assassination-focused team composition where, you know, they can do all of these plays. Oh, Poggy actually falling quite low because of the Rotom. He's very squishy and he needs protection from Ama. So it really, for the side of NSV, they really are trying to look for all these opportunities to catch out the side of Pokeballers unguarded. So Pokeballers, they need to make sure that they kind of engage as death ball, right? To make sure that NSV, this Gengar and this Absol doesn't get the KOs that they need to actually kind of take the team fights really well, and instead Pokeballers try and find their own engages onto these 2 Pokemons.
If I'm Sunshine, all I'm thinking is where is this Gengar, and that's where I'm using my Unite move. Making sure you're locking them down early. The Absol has to physically engage. The Gengar is a little bit more slippery. So take care of the Gengar and let the Absol get in deep and then take care of them at that point in time. Devastation rolling through. They're trying to find some KOs. A little Wygar by K-Ron. Not a big deal, as there's 30 seconds left until Zapdos and 15 seconds left until Dreadnought.
Honestly, I don't know how you're feeling about this, but I think the game is very even. Pokeballers have a little bit of lead in terms of the point, but in terms of the levels, both teams have what they need. They have the level spikes. It's really about the engage now.
Yeah, Ama getting a little surf engage, seeing if they can draw Pokeballers out. Sunshine comes in, gets chipped in. Ama working with those auto attacks as well. But I'm watching the Absol. I'm watching the Gengar. The Absol's trying to backdoor a little bit. The Zapdos is here. Poggy literally playing out of the central area, going to come down from underneath here, see if they can catch somebody, as Ama is on the ground. Big surf, catches 3 of them, go for them, let's go. They're going to see if they can leverage that. The Unite moves are coming out. That's from Absol. That's a Snow Globe as well coming through. Is that a Unite move from the Eldegoss as well, as they're pushing forward? NSV is still 1 player down, 2 down for Pokeballers, make it 3 down for Pokeballers. Is the Absol going to KO Chikatu? That's Poggy. They're working through and they're chasing Go Train. Good night, Go Train. I'm Ken, baby, and I'm here with that action because I'm a ghost and I'm making it happen. Just Zapdos, of course, getting melted here. Slowbro's going to have to try and make a miracle play with the surf if they can even get there in time. They're slow for a reason. It's in the name, of course. NSV locks up the Zapdos, and it's duck it time as Poggy's putting the screws to Sunshine. Another KO, why not? And now it's all about reining in these points. NSV needs to convert here. They actually need to get some of them in if they want to make something happen. As Ken is getting leashed around as that middle goes on unlock just in time, and then bang. All of a sudden, the lead is just exploded into the favor of NSV. They are looking very, very good.
Yep, Pokeballers had the first positioning into the Zapdos pit, but I'm not sure that was the right move to go for, right? NSV, they kind of went for something a little bit unconventional because of the team composition. As we've said, the Absol and Gengar like to play like an assassination kind of style Pokemon, and you know, they kind of engage from all angles. They go for the Sudai first, and the Sudai just melts so quickly to the Absol, and with that, you know, Pokeballers, they kind of just scramble. They split up a little bit and they just get caught out by the Gengar and Absol, and because of that, NSV just manages to catch, you know, all of them in the Zapdos pit. But right now, Pokeballers are trying to get in some dunks, but it's not going to be enough either ways. But good fight, good continuation, and I think, like, you know, they have kind of what it takes to take on NSV in the second round.
Yes, I mean they put together a very valiant effort there at the end. Never give up because there's still time on the clock, right? And they weren't down by some of those ridiculous numbers we've seen before, 500, 600 points. You know, that's theoretically a gap that is very one that can be closed out. So credit to Pokeballers for not giving up. You know, getting a little bit more into the action, maybe getting a couple more looks at the Gengar, a couple more looks at the Absol, see how they're moving a little bit, see how they like to engage, and you can take those lessons here into game 2. Pokeballers did have some very brilliant moments in that game, and you know, those are the ones I want to focus on. The bottom path on that, I believe it was the second Dreadnought, did some great work there, got a lot of good KOs. So if I'm Pokeballers, I'm trying to isolate that moment in time, figure out what worked, and rinse and repeat that at a larger basis for game 2.
Yep, and NSV, they have definitely taken up the pace a little bit more. K for Ken doing so much more on this Gengar than the Lucario in the previous game. He is the MVP for this game, and I think he deserves it for sure. 68,000 damage, and finding the right targets to lock onto, always finding you know, the CDI was what he was doing, and he managed to do it extremely well as well. So I think on the side of Pokeballers, if they want to take the second game, they have to find an answer to this Gengar as well as this Absol, right? I think they did extremely well, but you know, this CDI keeps getting caught too quickly, and they need to make sure that it's able to survive longer in team fights.
Yeah, in my mind, I'm thinking, you know, a triple defender kind of situation like we were doing before, right? Like, make the Gengar have to hit a very unique and specific target, and then once they're in the back line, you know, Gengar's a soft Pokemon as well, right? You just need to kind of get your grips into it to be able to beat it down. So, you know, Trevenant wasn't banned last time, if my memory serves. It was Blastoise, Lucario, Hoopa, and Blissey. So, you know, maybe the Trevenant comes through. Curse does huge damage. Horn Leech to push the Pokemon around, you know, trying to engage on your terms and really stun them up. You know, a big push into a big Surf, and then all of a sudden you've got like a Sing and then the Aegislash coming through the boosted auto. And I mean, that's just 2 Pokemon you can dust in a heartbeat like that. So Pokeballers definitely has a lot of tools in the bag. I wouldn't be necessarily as concerned about the Absol, but you definitely got to figure out how to put a leash on that Gengar.
Yep, for sure. I think Gengar especially has benefited so much from the recent patch, right? It's able to just mow down on so many of the Pokemon so easily, just able to, not to mention being able to kind of close the distance between you know, himself and the other Pokemon so quickly as well. Just makes it a very big threat. So, you know, visibility on the other team is going to be extremely important for the Pokeballers, right? Because this will kind of determine where, you know, you position certain Pokemon, especially if you want to bring in the CDI once again. And I know Dukes next year definitely wants to see it again, so really it's all about protecting this CDI. It's protect the queen. How are you going to do it? And that's really dependent on, you know, your front lines, your Wigglytuff, your Slowbro, and maybe your Trevenant as well, right? To see, you know, where are they positioned and where can this CDI be positioned as well to counter that as well.
I'm thinking just off the top of my head, maybe if you don't want to go to Decidueye, a small change you can make is getting Slowbro on Telekinesis, for example. Something to just put the brakes on either the Absol or the Gengar if they were both to be selected again. Any way to just slow it down. I mean, I'm seeing Phoenix in the chat talking about a Crustle. Why not? Bring it out. You know, X-Scissor, baby. Let's get in there. You know, let's go through. It's something big up front that just can't be absolutely dusted in a heartbeat by Gengar. And then once you lure Gengar into the back line, then you close it out. If I'm this squad, I don't even have Decidueye, you know, if you go back to that, well, in the stratosphere of where the Gengar can get to it. Because the Decidueye can close that gap at just by the range of its attacks anyways. So let it dive in, let it pick a less than prime target, and then flip the script on it. That's what I'm looking to do.
Yep, I think that makes a lot of sense, especially with its passive ability, right, on this Decidueye. The further the Pokemon is, it does a lot more damage, and that's kind of how you want to engage. You want to be far away from the action, and I think NSV kind of caught on to that a bit. They kind of went to split up the team a little bit, initially tried to get the Gengar and Absol from the back to get into the side of Pokeballers, and I think that's something that they have to be very careful of, right? Because NSV, they know like the perks of each Pokemon, and they are able to find a strategy to go against it. The Absol scaled really badly at the start, but it did manage to kind of come in. So they have to find a way to kind of close this gap. And I really like the idea of having a Trevenant here. I think Hornly just offers a lot of crowd control that they don't have because Blastoise has been banned time and time again. So I think this Trevenant Hornleech is going to be something really good, right? And I think it combines combos very well. Okay, combos really well with the slow roll surf, right? So that's like endless amounts of crowd control that you can like make sure this Gengar doesn't move at all, and this Decidueye just is allowed to do so much damage from so far behind.
Yeah, I mean that Trevenant, like you said, in the Hornleech specifically, with you know, the kind of lifesteal-esque ability of it, really throws things like Gengar's for a fit, right? Even an Absol for a fit, because it goes out, it tries to close out quickly because it can't sustain itself defensively, and then you get one Hornleech, you know, targeted down, and all of a sudden that HP bar is just climbing back up, and the Absol or the Gengar has no more cooldowns to burn, and they're just tapping the A button hoping it gets there, and by then you're hoping your Decidueye can knock up an arrow and, you know, fire it through the forehead and really seal up the KO for you. So I think the Trevenant, as you mentioned, is a great place to start if I'm the Pokeballers.
Yep, so we will be going into the game soon, and once again, this is game 2 between Pokeballers and NSV. So Pokeballers, they want to make sure that they are winning this game, right? Because, you know, they are fighting for a position in the Masters division tomorrow, and that means bigger prizes and more LCL points for them to actually participate in the championships in June.
Yeah, and that's a big deal here. That's a big deal. It's not nothing to have that on the line. Looks like the same bans have come through. So the Pokeballers, you know, they have all the known information. They know. Oh, Poggy locking in the Crustle. Poggy locking in the Crustle. Is that actually going to stay, or are we going to see a last second B button to get the switch up? Let's find out.
Let's hope it is there to stay. Oh no, he just took out the tick mark. How could he?
Yeah. Poggy's like, well, we just want to debate the people at home a little bit. No worries. Okay, so Pokeballers are working, I don't want to say with perfect information, but the bans are the same. They kind of know NSV can go back to the well, and they had a really good presence in that first game. So, hey, are we going to see something that can play around? Nobody's locking in anything. They're really giving us a hard time out here, RT.
Yeah, and you know what? It seems like Kieran might be going for the Garchomp. I say this, and I'm never too sure because like they always pick at the last chance, and we are actually going to see a Garchomp.
I'm excited. So everything on NSV has remained the same. On the other side here for the Pokeballers, everything stayed the same except for Kieran. Oh no, they have a Machamp as well. What am I talking about? They had a couple switch ups. I'm excited about the Garchomp, and of course, big fan of Machamp as well.
Right, so I think Pokeballers this time, they come in with a very late game scaling team composition. It's going to be a little bit hard for them in the early game. I mean, NSV, they do have that app, so once again in the early game, they have the Pikachu as well to pressure both lanes, so it's going to be quite hard for them. But if Pokeballers do manage to get the levels up, you know, they're going to be very strong in the late game with, you know, Machamps Unite. We've seen it do so much between the games, between NSV as well as Kimochi, and you know, Garchomp, it hasn't been used that much, but it is able to do a lot of damage so quickly, and not to mention a Unite move that actually splits the entire team up, and I think that's exactly what Pokeballer wants to do.
I agree completely. Now they just need to execute, and like you said, they are playing for the late game. They are trying to scale to the late game. But what's important in that is to not lose the early game so badly that you just can't execute on a big late game advantage. So Pokeballers, I mean, you know, the Alolan Vulpix there almost going down, but Pokeballers are really just trying to scale and try and take over here with their late scaling characters, and you know, maybe get some KOs along the way.
Yep, I think that's exactly what they need to do. They need to realize that in the early game, it's going to be very hard for them to actually win. But I say this, but they just knock out one on the side, two on the side of NSV goes down. This is exactly what they want to be doing. I mean, it's going to be very hard for them to actually win the early game, but it seems like they're doing that. And that's really nice to see.
Looks like Poggy DC'd for a second a little bit, maybe had some connection issues there. But yeah, I mean, Kieran obviously closed the door on those Pokemon, but that was all made possible by Go Train and that meticulous sleep that they had when, looks like we're going to pause the battle here, and we're going to find out if something happened with Hoggy. Question mark.
I think he did so much in the previous game that his game decided to crash, and we will kind of pause for a while, make sure that everything is okay on his side first before we continue with the game. But so far, you know, Pokeballers are doing pretty well in the top lane. They are suffering a little bit in the bottom lane, but I think it's a pretty good trade-off for them at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. What I was saying before we kind of had the admin break there is, of course, Kieran came up and executed and getting that KO streak of 2 there, but that was all off the back of Go Train. I mean, if their sleep doesn't hit the mark, or if they miss that sustained sleep on the Gengar and didn't stay in the pocket long enough, the Gengar doesn't snooze, and then they don't get the KO. Excuse me, I guess Haunter, to be more accurate. But Kieran came in and it was just a perfect hit, and it made it happen. And that's exactly what Pokeballers is trying to do. Yes, they're playing for the late game scaling, but working in tandem with some of your power spiking characters like the Alolan Ninetales, like the Wigglytuff, you know, that get key abilities at level 4, you can win some of these fights, and you can really mitigate the damage that is done in the early game by a team that's trying to scale faster in the early game.
Right, and I agree with you. Like, it's nice to know that, you know, your team composition is for the late game, but everyone's going to benefit if you kind of scale earlier, right? So, okay, it seems like we have word that we are going to restart the game because of the disconnect from Poggy's side. So we will be doing that soon. But in the meantime, yeah, once again, we're here to entertain you guys a little bit more as that is kind of happening again.
Yeah, so correct me if I'm wrong, that means we're going to have to see the same character loadouts from each team, correct?
Yep, that's right.
Okay, that's good to know. That means they just can't arbitrarily flip on the fly. I'm a fan of that.
Correct.
That makes sense. Keeps things a little bit more honest. But I'll tell you what, I don't think they're gonna get caught in the top path again like that with Kieran hiding in the grass. I don't think that's gonna happen again. You don't get that kind of action back on a reset. That's for sure. So I'm watching you, NSB. I'm watching you. You know, you got snuffed out pretty hard there. So let's make sure that doesn't happen again. Let's have ourselves a game that's above board. Let's go.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what we want to see, right? Because NSB, with that team composition, they have no excuse to lose the early game, and losing it like that is definitely not what you want to see. So, you know, for the side of NSB, right, they have to win the early game because their team comps not built for the late game. And if they were to take a team fight like that, if, you know, Pokeballers manage to get the levels, it's going to be extremely hard for NSB. So they need to make sure that they deny Pokeballers that chance to even get to the levels that they need, get the power spikes and all that kind of stuff, and you know, win the game from the very early parts of it.
Yes. So if I'm Pokeballers and given the team composition we know, in my mind, what I'm thinking of is this. Let's just lay out a kind of the first 3 minutes of the game. I'm looking at Kieran to go through do three jungle clears. I'm looking at an early rotation to get to Dreadnought with my other 4 players to try and, you know, beat back NSV with a stick so they can't take Dreadnought right out the gate. And then we're just buying time for Kieran to roll through and just shatter through the opposing squad. In my mind, that's kind of the direction that Pokeballers, I'd like to see them play with the lineup that they brought to battle with.
Yep, and I think, you know, the triple clear thing is not something that we see a lot in the Southeast Asian servers, just because, you know, the fights at Dreadnought happen so much faster. By the second beat, you know, the rotations have already happened, and it's going to be extremely hard for them to do so. But if they do manage to find that angle, you know, they're going to have a very strong lead at the first Dreadnought. And I think the first Dreadnought is going to be extremely important for them to scale into the late game. So I do agree with you. But on the side of NSV, right, if they do notice that Pokeballers are going to go for this triple clear, they are going to try to force the Dreadnought fight, force the 5v4, and that's kind of what I think they will do in that case.
Well, fingers crossed, because that's what I want to see happen. I would love to see the Detective Garchomp take over the game. Really solve the mystery of how this game needs to be won and execute on that. Pokeballers looking to do that off the back of Garchomp. I'm trying to think of the composition here. Gengar, Absol, what else do we have? Slowbro. Help me out. Eldegoss, and what's the one I'm missing?
Lucario or Machamp? Wait, was it?
Was it Machamp? No, Machamp was
No,
on the side
no.
of Pokeballers.
Now I am confused, but yeah. Hmm.
I can't remember.
But yeah, I think the Machamp on the side of Pokeballers is something that, NSV has had a trouble with, right? The Machamp from the side of Kimochi, I would say. So they have to be very careful about this once again, right? They don't want to be caught out like they did in the match against Kimochi. So they have to be very careful about this Machamp, and of course, the positioning of this Machamp will come into play. Very much so for the team fights that they want to take on the side of Pokeballers.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And they're with the Absol Pikachu. That was the one we were missing. Pikachu. Shout out to the wonderful production team helping us out here and feeding us information. But yeah, I mean, especially with the Pikachu, they're going to lean on that to try and hold down the early game so their late scaling character that they've brought to the table, Gengar, can get to Gengar and take over the game in that sense. Of course, between Pikachu and Absol, like you said, that early game should really be pretty easy. Almost Fisher Price. It's so childish. So you can't let Keyron and Go Train take advantage of you that early, like we saw in the little snippet of Game 2 that we did get to witness.
Yeah, they're definitely going to make sure that does not happen again, because I mean, we are going to restart this second game, but we're not going to restart it one more time, right? So they have to make sure that they get this, and because if not, Pokeballers, if they do manage to get this, we're going to go into Game 3, and I'm perfectly fine with that, but I'm not sure how I would be feeling with, my back against the wall as NSV, right? So yeah, definitely want to see, both teams put in a lot of effort for this, and, make sure that they clear out all the mistakes that they have done in the previous few games, and, give us a really good show.
That's the hope. That's the dream. But of course, we need to make sure the technology's working at the same time too. That's step number one. You can't fix any problems in game if you don't actually get to load the game in. And we're being told that they're letting the game timer run to 5 minutes so that they can do a surrender and naturally reset the game in that sense. And of course, once they do that, we'll bring you that action. As we mentioned before, all of the bands have to stay the same. All of the picks, the character picks, are staying the same as well. So no, oh, I see what you did there, and then switching up to try and make some counter picks. What they've locked in is what they're staying with here in Game 2. And of course, NSV up on Pokeballers 1-0.
Yeah, and yeah, I think one of the Pokemon that we haven't really spoken about in the team compositions on NSV side as well as Pokeballers is probably this Wigglytuff, right? Wigglytuff is this Pokemon we haven't seen a lot since the AOS Cup, since the recent patch, because, the Blissey has become like the go-to support Pokemon as well as Hooper, but now both of them are banned. And, we are seeing how Sing is such a great crowd control move in the previous game, and we love to see it, right? Getting the Haunter asleep, and also the Unite move giving them the shields, because now you don't have buddy barriers to do it. I think Wiggly is a very nice Pokemon to see once again.
Yeah, nothing warms my heart more than an incredibly aggressive and forward playing Blissey, or excuse me, Wigglytuff. I mean, I'm a huge fan of the eject button engage to sleep. Like, I love that. And there's not a lot of Wigglytuff players that have the backbone to make those types of super aggressive plays. But the ones that do, and with a team that can follow up, wow, it is fun to watch. Because, I mean, nobody really expects you to eject in. But the players that do that, for the NA side, for us specifically, Zugrug does that all the time. And it's just an absolute masterpiece to watch them play. Of course, Wigglytuff has fallen out of favor, but that doesn't mean we didn't enjoy it when it was happening. Here we go. We're back in it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. And hopefully we won't have any disconnects this time round. It seems like Crow has gone with another skin on his Eldegoss, really showing us that he is an Eldegoss player and he's gonna do his best in this game.
Yeah, just showing off the wardrobe a little bit. You can't be expected to wear the same t-shirt 2 times in a row. I get it, Crow. I get it. Switch it up. Switch it up. Crow just chipping through here. Of course, going to be top laning, giving some good support to the Absol as Kayron is going to work through the central area and try to get to the Gabite as quick as they can, and eventually a Garchomp, and hopefully take over the game.
Yeah, I think Garchomp is one of these Pokemon that we don't see that much because it does scale very late into the game, and not to mention, I think a lot of other Pokemon is deemed to have a lot more utility than this Pokemon, but I still think that there's a lot of value here. He does a lot of damage, and he's able to kind of get close, right? He's not afraid of this Gengar up close and personal. I think this Garchomp is ready for it, and I think this pick is just great for that.
Sunshine getting the last hit on that Audino that was leashed over and getting the evolution of Slowbro first. Big Surf coming in. They've chunked up. Let's see if the Ninetales wants to come out to play as they tick over as well. So, I mean, good little laning and pathing phase here by the Pokeballs. Look at Kieran. They rolled downstairs to get the downstairs bees. They push her back. Big Surf by Sunshine cuts them all off, and Kieran's getting fed. Let's go. Talk about switching it up and getting just a great advantage. Well sought out, well played by Pokeballers there.
Yeah, and we were talking about how NSV, they need to win the lane in the early stages, but this is not it. We're not seeing this happen for the side of NSV. They are kind of winning a little bit in terms of the top lane. Go Train still level 3, and they do manage to get in some dunks as well. But, well, this is all happening. Garchomp, Garbite at this point gets in another dunk with the Machoke. So, you know, Pokeballers, they're scaling where they need to be, and NSV not finding the knockouts that they need to scale in this game so far.
Yeah, they really need to help Go Train just tick over to the next level here. I don't know how they're going to make that decide. Go Train was like, please just give me that Corphish. Kieran was like, nope, I need my level 9. I need my level 9. Poor Go Train, a little Jigglypuff, just waiting to tick over. Needs to get a KO to seal that one up. But Envy, already a level 5, ticking on 6. Oh, Pikachu getting a KO downstairs! And that's off the back of the Haunter coming through, dealing mad damage here. Devastation getting a KO streak of 2. And now that's a level 8 Haunter, as Poggy is just trying to get all over Kieran here, level 8. They're going to go down, guaranteed. Good exchange. And now Kieran's knocking on the doorstep of level 9 in evolution to go ahead and get their Unite move, but they're moving through. Kieran gets caught. Devastation's on the edge. They get the KO. They're about to take over. If they need 1B, they need 1B, and they have the Unite move. Oh, they got it. And here we go. Kieran is going to do it here.
Yeah, he needs to be careful though. His teammates on it seems like NSV have decided to not contest this at all. I think they are kind of afraid that this, of this Garchomp, and they don't want to give Pokeballers the knockout. So this Dreadnought is going to the side of Pokeballers. I say this as NSV kind of converge in. They try to get it, but the Garchomp is the one who gets it. Now the team fight has started. The Unite move from the Garchomp has opened up the game, and they are going inwards towards the side of NSV.
Yeah, they're trying to find Ken right now. They're going to take down Ama, and the Haunter gets the Garchomp, and that's going to be good positive experience back the other way as they're chasing down Gotra, and KO Streak at 2 for the Gengar. As they work through, can they make it 3? They do. That's off the back of the Slowbro. K for Ken feeling it. Pikachu getting the Wigglytuff here, and Pokeballers had a slight lead, and that kind of evaporated quickly. Big Unite move by the Machamp there, Envy, to go ahead and take out the Absol Poggy. So good little look as Envy continually works in the face of Crow and Ama.
Yeah, really well taken fight by NSV. I think the Gengar really kind of popped off there, manages to catch the squishy Pokemon on the side of Pokeballers, and the Garchomp goes down as well. So Pokeballers, they kind of overstay a little bit, and NSV, they find value in all of that. They get back the EXP that they need, and it looks very even on both sides, points-wise and EXP-wise. It's all extremely even.
Yeah, 150 to 142, so we're balanced on there, but Envy getting caught out a little bit, they're going to get KO'd. That's the Gengar getting credit for that again, and that's who you want to get credit if you're trying to scale. Oh, the Alolan Ninetales is on the verge of getting chased by Poggy. Can Poggy close it out? Oh, they do close it out, but they're intercepted by the Garchomp coming through. Big Surf. That's a Unite move by the Garchomp. They're not finding anyone down here. As, of course, I say that Crow is the one that gets down, but the Kangaroo's coming back in. They're eating up the other way. As Ama comes through, and they gobble up the Garchomp. K for Ken is getting too strong out here in the bottom path.
He is already level 12, and we're not even 5 minutes through this game. Once he reaches level 13, he's going to be extremely scary on the side of Pokeballers. I think what Pokeballers need to do when they engage is that this Garchomp, he needs a little bit of support as well, right? He needs the Slowbro to kind of, cause a little bit of chaos with the crowd control. Wigglytuff as well to give him enough sustain for his Unite move, because he's going to be the target, the #1 target on the side of Pokeballers.
I
when
mean,
he
Machamp
uses
organ
it.
through.
Oh.
That's Unite move coming through. That's Garchomp diving in as well. Machamp gets a KO streak of 2. They're pushing forward. They're waiting for the Gengar, though. A lot of people low. That's a lot of low HP. They all get knocked up by the Dreadnought. They're working through, but here comes K for Ken. They get chipped up by Sunshine. Good little surf here. Can they keep the Gengar away long enough? The Dreadnought leashes all the way back. It's full HP. Here comes the Absol. KO streak of 2 for the Gengar. They're working through. The whole team is wiped. The whole team is wiped. Poggy getting 2 there as well. Wow, what a play between Poggy and Ken. They're looking good. Pikachu auto-attacked in to get credit for that one. Get out of here.
Yeah, I think, this Absol and Gengar has been such a strong powerhouse in the first game that we've seen before, and we are seeing that again. Pokeballers, they don't seem to have the answer to this. They are grouping up a little bit too much, and that just allows, this Gengar and Absol to put in so much damage, and they need to be careful about that. They need to be a little bit more split up. They don't want this Gengar to be doing so much damage at all for their side.
No, that's exactly right. Kieran going to go back, get some of their central area wild Pokemon, get their experience up that way. Poggy working through. They're going to take care of this Rotom, not a problem. 3 minutes and 38 seconds on the game timer here, as Pikachu's finding an engage in the middle a little bit, but they're just, I'm pretty sure Devastation is just buying time for Ken to come in and try and just close the door on some of these Pokemon.
Yep, I definitely think so as well. Right? Pikachu is one of the Pokemon that scales better in the early to mid game, so it's kind of not doing as well anymore, but it still has in its arsenal really good strong AoE moves, right? It is able to do a lot of damage with its Unite move still, so just enough to pressure and create space for his team to actually come back.
A quality engage by Ama up top. I don't want that to go unnoticed here. Big Surf, caught out, get a KO, and actually forced the Machamp to retreat from Pokeballers when it looked to seem to have a pretty decent positional advantage. So good little look there. Wanted to give the tip of the cap to them, as Pokeballers all up on the scoreboard, not doing too bad on the levels. So, I mean, they've kind of drugged this thing back into their direction a little bit.
Yeah, I think NSV side, they already have the levels that they need. The Absol and Gengar is level 14, so that they're going to be extremely dangerous, and I think, Pokeballers, they have the levels that they need as well. They just need the Ninetales to get a level 13, and they will be ready for the Zapdos fight. But it seems like NSV, they are going to be able to get the knockouts that they need, and as well, maybe get this Dreadnought as well, so they have the advantage right now with the shields and with the levels.
Yeah, they're in a great spot. NSV is just engaging better team-wise, right? I mean, they've protected the Gengar so well and have allowed it to just jump in, close out the KOs, do the easy work on the back end. Oh, that Kieran getting caught out. That's a big chunk of HP gone, and that's going to force Pokeballers to make a move here as they just dive. I think they're going to try and just flip the Zapdos. Don't even care about the other teams. The Absol scored in 100. They're moving through. The Unite move has come out. Who does the Slowbro catch as they're pushing through? Machamp takes out the Pikachu. Zapdos is so low. Who's going to get Absol? Takes out the Ninetales. We're working through. And Pokeballers do not take it. That's NSV unlocking the goal zones, wiping the team, and NSV is going to rein in these double points. Poggy looking real crisp in the middle. KO streak of 5. Zip all 5 of them up. What a way to end this one for NSV with an absolute exclamation point.
Yep, I think that 5 knockouts on the side of Absol is just great. I think NSV manages to catch out the Garchomp first and unites him. So his HP got really low even before the Zapdos got mowed down by him. And that's very unfortunate because Garchomp is definitely one of the Pokemon that can bring down this Zapdos really quickly, and he just gets knocked out. Once he gets knocked out, the entire team falls behind him as well. And Poggy just, wow, that 5 knockout right there. So well played by the side of NSV.
So well played. Pokeballer's going to push back in the face of Aha. Devastation waiting in the weeds here, uses a Unite move. Slowbro coming through. That's almost full team wipe. Eldegoss is being reset. They're raining the points in now here, but do they have enough to convert? 20 seconds left, and they need a whole bunch. A mess of 250. 260-ish. They're reining in 26. That lead is shrinking, but it's still pretty large, and they don't have enough points in pocket. Kieran's going to get this in. Hundo banger by the Slowbro. Kieran doesn't get their points in, but it wouldn't have made the difference, I don't think, as they were down by more than 200. Wow.
Yeah.
What a razor thin margin, and no quit in the Pokeballers.
Wow, I think Pokeballs has shown us so much tenacity. They have never given up, even though they have lost the Dreadnought. And they made this game even closer than we thought it would have been. They managed to get a reverse team wipe, and I think that was a really great job on their side. But unfortunately, they just didn't have enough points to dunk in at the tier 3, and NSV, they will be the victors of this game.
What a show, what a show. Poggy really earning that crown with that 5 KO streak at the very end. But you mentioned real quick, I want to touch on it just real quick if I may. Kieran, devastation with the absolute just future sight, I don't know how you want to call it, just galaxy brain read, getting that thunder shock into the bush that chunked away, like thunder shock thunder combo that chunked away over a third of Kieran's HP, and then that forced the Pokeballers to engage because they didn't have time to reset, and then that enabled the Absol to dive right in because Kieran was already so low just from that devastation, just like I said, galaxy brain read. So very well sought out by them and just a complete team effort. Absol got the shine at the end, but I mean, it was all 5 players from top to bottom for NSV that really made that victory happen.
Yeah, and NSV, they really got their head into this game this time against the side of Pokeballers, and Poggy, yeah, as you said, 7 KOs with 5 at the Zapdos pit, doing all the work for them. And I think I agree with what you said, devastation as well, that prediction of where the Garchomp can be, and then Arma following as well with the slow beam onto the Garchomp, allowed them to bring him down even further before the Zapdos fight. And by then, without any strong support and without any massive healings from Koopa, Kieran just went down so quickly, and with him, his team as well.
I mean, look at the damage numbers for NSV. We had a 77, we had a 77, 72, 61. I mean, massive numbers. The closest one was Kieran for Pokeballers, and that was, the third highest on NSV. So great work by the whole team there, and Ama with just some critical surfs unlocking it, and of course Crow giving the team the sustain they need to win the game.
Yeah, I think there were moments in the game where the Unite move of this Eldegoss actually helped in the game. I think the team fight at the bottom at the first Dreadnought, as well as afterwards, just holding the line at his goal zone with his Unite move as well was so good, right? If not, the scores would have been a lot more closer. And you know what? I think we should give the support players in this matchup some of the credit as well.
I could not agree more. I love my support players, especially when their main supports were banned every single round. It seemed like Blissey and Hoopa were never on the table. So seeing our support players revert back to what used to be called Eldegoss jail and playing that Pokemon, which is one we hadn't seen in a bit, was both refreshing and nice.
Yeah, and not to mention, it just got some of the nicest skins, hollowware in the game, and I think it was really nice to see that in action again. And I'm pretty sure Crow, being an Eldegoss main since season 1, if I'm not wrong, getting to finally play it again instead of like the Hoopa and Blissey is probably something that he's gonna be so happy about and pat himself on the back for. And of course, with that, we have come to the end of day 1. We will be going through a bit of the groupings once again. So yeah, this is the format. We have finished up day 1, and day 2 we will be going into the different divisions of Elite, Masters, and Challengers to see who is the winners of these different divisions and who actually gets to win the cash prizes, as well as get the LCL points for the championships that will be happening in June. And of course, once again, we are going to go through the different standings in the groups so far. So we have in Group A Renaissance with 2 wins and Pokemat with 1. So Renaissance going into the Elite division, while Pokemat will be going into the Masters division. And next we have in Group B the ones that we have just finished watching: Kimochi, NSV, and Pokeballers. Kimochi going into the Elite division, NSV going into the Masters, and Pokeballers going into the Challenger division. And last but not least, the game that we started the day off with, No Lucario going into the Elite division, while Elite 4 going into the Masters division. And so if you want to know what's at stake tomorrow, this is what we have: the prize pool of $600 being split across the Elite, the Masters, and Challenger divisions tomorrow. And of course, the LCL points that are attached to the positions that you get tomorrow as well. And like we have said before, all of these points that you accumulate between the March, April, and May qualifiers will qualify you for the LCL Championships, which is invitational only, and the top 8 teams with the most LCL points will be participating in this offline event in June. So this is the leaderboard from the first 2 qualifiers. We have Star9 Renaissance, No Lucario, Kimochi, Pokeballers, TJKQA, as well as NSV and Pokepuff Girls as the top 8 teams so far. We will be updating this with the points after tomorrow's competition, and then we will see who are actually going to be the top 8 teams going into the championships. And once again, we would like to thank, the event organizers, 3 Big Cats, as well as our official partners, Prism Plus, Darren Stewart, Football Academy, Kaplan University, and Birmingham City University, as well as our community partner, Pokemon Unite Singapore. If you guys do play Halo and FIFA, you still can join us in the last qualifiers in this month, and as every participant will be put into the giveaway, you might actually go out with this Prism Plus monitor. Alright, and now, we have kind of come towards the end of the Lion City League Day 1. What are your thoughts about it, Dupes Next?
Well, first off, thanks again so much for having me. It was an absolute great time to watch some teams that, again, I don't get to watch too often, and much less get to cast them. So that was an amazing experience. So I want to thank you all for that. A lot of good teams, and really excited to see where these teams progress to. Kimochi earned my heart tonight. I loved watching those games. NSV as well. Just absolute barn burner in our second match that we watched today. So my hearts are to you all. Just great games, and I'm now a fan of all those players without a doubt. I mean, I wish I had more to say. I just had a great time. Thank you for having me. I hope everyone that tuned in enjoyed it. I know tomorrow's going to be an absolute, just amazing showdown. I will be watching. I will not be casting, but I will be watching. I might fall asleep before the end, but I will try not to. I'm really burning all my midnight oil tonight to do this because I couldn't pass up this opportunity. So yet again, big shout outs to everybody involved at the LCL. Thank you, RT, for asking me to come out. Everybody, big shout out to everybody at home that tuned in. Peace, love, and hugs. I love you all. Please be safe out there, and I can't wait to do it again. If you'll have me again, I would love to. Oh, and in my ear, I was told to share my socials, so I'll do that. At Doobsnacks, DOOBSNAX on literally everything. So there you go.
Yeah, it was definitely great to have you on the Lion City League, and it was really fun casting with you as well. And as for me, you will still be seeing me tomorrow, so yeah. Yes, but okay. You can also find me on my socials at Artisan on Twitch as well as on Twitter with 3 N's. But yes, do stay along with us for tomorrow because it's going to be even more exciting games and much more at stake. So the teams will definitely put on a really good show. So I can't wait to see you guys there. In the meantime, it has been a great time being here. It is me, Artisan, here with Doopsnex, and we are signing out.
Do you need a degree to get that promotion or career switch? Graduate with an honors degree from Birmingham City University in 1 year. Established since 1843, you can choose from a variety of leading business programs. Diploma holders can complete the degree in 1 year. Assignment-based assessment allows you to manage your time better by spreading out your workload. No weekend classes means you don't have to compromise on your social and family life. Find out more today.